pretty full episodes. I couldn't quite remember what they announced last week, so I have gone to find a preview. Believe it or not, there's no preview that I could see on Twitter, so I've had to go to Reddit, which is a little bit strange. So over on Reddit, let me see if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to get it on screen, but let me just read it out. That'll be good enough. Layla Diggs in action against Gianna Capri. So Layla Diggs is obviously someone that we've seen a fair bit of in NXT. Gianna Capri is... we've seen her a couple of times. I think this is going to be an okay match. I'm not expecting it to be too crazy, but Layla Diggs is someone I really do enjoy watching. I would expect her to get the win. Then we got Braxton Cole taking on Harlem Lewis. This is a no DQ match, so Braxton Cole against Harlem Lewis. Not a big Harlem Lewis fan, to be honest. Braxton Cole, I think there's something there. We haven't seen much of him, so we'll see what we get out of that. Kale Dixon is going to address the Evolve universe. So, obviously, Kale Dixon used to be in Chase U, used to be with Uriah Connors, who's now in Birthright, and Kale Dixon seemingly has gone to Evolve, so we're going to be hearing from him, and we'll see what he's got to say. And then, of course, the other thing is that we've got this Kev on stage. He is special guest general manager. So we've got Kev on stage. I don't even know who Kev on stage is, to be honest, but I believe he does something with Tubi. And so they are getting him kind of on the show, and just it's cross promotion. So not the strongest of episodes. As well as that, apparently we have got a 6-person tag match. So we've got a 6-person tag match, the Mog Squad taking on Marcus Mathers, Cappuccino Jones, Sam Holloway. That's a 6-man tag. And then Cutler James taking on Its Goal. So it is a stacked episode, 4 matches and a promo. Kale Dixon going to be speaking to the Evolve universe, and as we said, we've got that special guest general manager, so certainly a stacked episodes. I don't know if there's anything that's like crazy essential there, anything that people are gonna desperately want to be tuning in for, but I like Its Goal. I am an Its Goal fan, so I'll be looking forward to that. I like Layla Diggs. I'm sure that 6-person tag will be pretty fun, and yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's this week's episode of Evolve. Drift Lewis, shout out to you, says, unfortunately, we had to put our cat Banksy to sleep today. Love your pets. They are the light of our lives. Well, Drift Lewis, I'm so sorry to hear that. Obviously, as everyone knows, we lost our dog yesterday, and it was a real shock because like when we woke up in the morning, she was fine. Her legs had been going for a while. But when we got up, she was fine. I mean, her back legs were sort of dragging, and it was not good because it was dragging outside on the path, and it was starting to bleed. And, you know, as she was standing, you could see she was starting to like kind of, you know, go down at the back. And, we sort of knew the end was coming, but, you know, wasn't really expecting, you know, anything for a good few months. And then something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened yesterday. I don't know if she's had some sort of stroke or some sort of blood clot or some sort of internal bleed. We don't know. But, I mean, she just went really drowsy. She sort of collapsed. Her tongue was sticking out. Her breathing got very, very shallow. And it was like, what's happening? Something's happened. And it felt like she was going in the garden, to be honest. It felt like we were losing her. So we got her in the car, went to the vet. Vet took one look at her and was like, no, this is it. And so, yeah, I was there as she kind of, you know, was put down. But it was... So if you've gone through, you know, losing a pet today, Drift Lewis, then shout out to you, bud. Because... I mean, like, to be honest, we've never had like a dog or a cat or anything. We've had some rabbits and stuff like that, but like goldfish and whatever. But, you know, to have a pet for 13 years who's a massive part of the family, I mean, our lives revolve around her. You know, I'd have been doing streams sometimes, and I'd have to step away from the stream to let her in because she was at the door barking to come in. Or, you know, there's videos I've recorded where I can hear her barking inside because she wants to go out, or she wants some attention, or she wants some treats, or she wants something. Even at night when she should be asleep, she was still kind of, I don't know, taking up my attention, still a presence. And then, of course, you know, as soon as streams were over, whatever, I would go up, give her a little stroke on the head, give her a treat, let her out. She was just always around, and she has been for 13 years. So, Drift Lewis, I'm really sorry to hear that you've gone through a loss today as well. I'm really sorry to hear that. I send all my sympathy your way because I know what it's like having just experienced a loss as well. And yesterday was really difficult. Really, really difficult. And the shock of it as well, because it wasn't like it was planned. It wasn't like we've been building up to it or anything. So, like, the shock of it really hit me. There was no way I was doing the stream last night. To be honest, I couldn't even sleep. I was trying to sleep, but I mean, things were just going through my head. So I managed to get a few hours. Then I was getting up. Then I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I was like feeling like a bit worn down. I was just absolutely lost. I still feel a bit lost now, to be honest. I mean, I'm kind of out the loop with stuff. So I'm not too sure as to what's kind of going on in the wrestling world over the past 24 hours. I didn't watch the England game earlier. I didn't care about it. I saw the result. I'm pleased they're through, but I didn't care. I was asleep, actually. I managed to get a few hours earlier whilst the game was on. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And to be honest, I was debating whether to do this stream because I feel like the shock of it has wore off, and I feel okay to talk about it. So, I mean, that's an improvement, because if this was yesterday, I would have just burst into tears. So, I mean, that's a definite improvement. So, I think I'm definitely, you know, getting over the shock and everything, but it's just awful, isn't it? It's just awful. I mean, she's been in my life longer than this channel, which is mental. She was around a good few years before this channel existed. So, every video that I've ever made on this channel, going all the way back to the very first one, she was already part of my life. And now she's gone. She went as of yesterday. And you kind of like, I mean, she's been in the odd video as well. She appeared in the odd stream when I used to stream upstairs. She would actually come over and I'd be like, oh, here's Kira, and I'd show her on camera. Probably the biggest video that she's in was for Greatest Royal Rumble. That was like 2018. I actually, at the end of the garden, wrote all the names of the wrestlers that were participating, put a bit of chicken on each one, and I set her free out of the house, and she went bolting down, and she would find, you know, she ate a bit of chicken. She picked Goldust, which was a really bad choice. So that's why we never did it again, because she wasn't one of those wonder dogs that could predict the future, you know, like you see other dogs doing. She was stupid. She didn't have that ability. So that's why we never did it again. She chose Goldust. It was a really bad choice. So, but yeah, there are like clips of her on the channel. That one being the one, but very sad. And Jeff Lewis, you know, again, I'm very, very sorry to hear that news for you, my friend. Alex said, I've got a GSD. He's 12 next month. He's going to be my first pair. I can't imagine when that day comes. You sign up for it, though, don't you? You know, you sign up for it. You sign up whenever you're a pet owner. You know that day's going to come. And the thing with dogs as well is they tend to live like about 10 years to 12 years. We got 13 years out of her. And as I said, her back legs were going anyway. So it's not like she was this, you know, just bundle of youth and energy. I mean, she was showing her age. She was struggling, like, you know, with the back legs, and she'd already had operations on them to fix them. So it was one of those situations where, like, you knew it was going to happen soon, as in months. Didn't think she would make Christmas. But yeah, it was just out the blue, completely out the blue. Something happened yesterday. Something happened. So that was a difficult ride to the vets, because I was in the back with her, and I had her in my I had her in my arms, big dog, German Shepherd, and I was like, come on, we're gonna make it, we're gonna get there, and all that. So I'm talking to her, and a couple of times in that car journey, I thought she'd gone. A couple of times where the breathing got very, very shallow, and you're like, come on, we're gonna make you better, which I didn't believe, but you just and the vet just took one look and was like, no, she's telling us it's time. I don't really have any regrets or anything, obviously. I mean, I did say, are you sure? I did say, can we not give her anything? Is there no adrenaline? Is there nothing we can do? The vet was just, no. No. I mean, I can't really argue with a vet, can I? I mean, I don't know. I suppose in a way, you just don't want to accept it, do you? But the fact that we almost lost her in the car and her breathing went very, very shallow. I mean, I thought she'd stopped breathing a couple of times. I thought I was holding a deceased dog a couple of times, but then she'd, come back, whatever. So, I mean, I think she was fighting at the end, but it's rough, man. It's really, it's brutal. It is brutal. And the other thing as well is, like, you kind of go upstairs and you see a bowl, you see a toys, you see a bed, you see a lead, you see all the stuff, and you're like, this is brutal. This is brutal. I mean, I just had dinner. I think it's the first dinner I've had in I don't know how long where she's not right there waiting for any scraps, because I was terrible at always giving her bits, always giving her little bits. And so she would always be, that's the first dinner I've had where she wasn't there. And you're like, I got up this morning and first thing I did was look out the window, see where she was. Even though I knew she wasn't there, I'm so used to doing that. Because you're like, where is she? Is she okay? She hasn't got out or anything. And it's like, whoa, this is brutal. This is brutal. I mean, it's funny because, like, not with having pets and everything, you don't know, like, you don't really think about the impact it has when they pass. You know that when you sign up, this day is coming, but it's hard to know how hard it's going to hit. Because they're not humans. It's not like losing a brother or a sister or a mom or a dad. But it's still such a massive part of the family. And our lives revolved around it. If ever we went out anywhere, we had to get back because she couldn't be on her own for that long, obviously. So, I mean, anytime we went out, anytime we were doing stuff, we wanted to let her outside. She loved being outside. So your whole life revolves around her. Just in a way, in a weird way. Really, the time that I'm streaming is the time where I had an escape from it, where I had an escape from having to let her in, let her out, give her a bone or, whatever. So people on the stream might not realise, like, how big of a part of our lives she was, but she was a constant. She was always there, and her miss is just going to be life-changing is the only thing I can say. My life changed. But I don't want to be, like, overly dramatic or whatever, because it's a dog, But you don't really realise until you've actually had one, like, how big of a loss it is and how much it affects everything, So, really difficult day yesterday. I'm feeling better today. The shock of it has wore off. I felt like I could do this stream. I did a member stream as well, and that's just helped, to be honest. So, a big thank you to Angel Imperius. Big thank you to Bobby as well, because I just did a stream, and that was obviously my first stream since. And it was good. It was good. We was able to get through it. Felt good. Had a good chat with them. Yeah. Might not be as fun or as bouncy as usual, right? But we're probably not as bad as what people thought or something. I don't know. I don't know what people thought, but yeah, it's brutal, mate. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Michael, shout out to you. Says, sorry to hear about you, Doug. I agree. It really sucks. Hope it'll all be good. You do have a great community. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I really, appreciate all the kind words and all the messages. I mean, to be honest, it's something which, I can talk about. I don't feel a need to talk about it. I mean, there's obviously, it's weird because, like, I keep thinking to myself, like, well, she didn't have long left anyway because of her legs. And it was funny because my brother actually took her to the vet in the morning, yesterday morning, and the vet saw her and was like, she's got 2 weeks. And she actually came back home, and then that's when she took a turn for the worse. So I don't know if there's any connection there or anything. I don't know. I don't think she understood what the vet said or anything, right? But like, we got bad news yesterday morning that she only had 2 weeks, and then she got brought back, and then that's when whatever happened. And then, you know, we end up taking her back to the vet, like literally probably an hour after she'd left, with the vet saying, yeah, no. The vet also said, like, she wasn't sure about letting her go in the morning. The only reason she said 2 weeks was because she knew that we would want to spend some time and say goodbye. But we didn't even get that. But we're very grateful that we got an hour, because the vet could have said, no, she's done now in the morning. Because something happened at some point in the morning. Because very early in the morning, she was fine. Actually, after the Raw stream, I went upstairs and I think she was outside. And eventually she came in and I gave her some treats and she was fine. I mean, her legs weren't good, but she was fine. But I keep telling myself all this stuff. It was the perfect ending. We were all there. You know, she lived till she was 13. She didn't have long anyway because of her legs. You know, the vet in the morning had said 2 weeks. So, I mean, I keep telling myself all this stuff. It don't make any difference. Don't make any difference. There's nothing I can find or say or do that makes me feel any better. So I really appreciate all the kind words and the sympathies. I don't feel like I need them, because there ain't nothing that's going to change how I feel. Which is why when I put the post out, I kind of just blocked any comments, because I was like, I know everyone is going to want to say nice things, and I really appreciate the fact people want to do that. But there's nothing that can be said that's going to help. So it's, you know, just got to carry on. Just got to move on. So if you've lost a pet or anything, my thoughts are obviously with you, just like Drift Lewis, because it's brutal. It's really brutal. But that's the cost, isn't it? When you love someone or something, the price you pay is that when they go, it hurts. That's the price. That's the deal that you strike. You can't have something meaningful in your life and then not be bothered when it's gone. If it's something that you love and it's something that really means something to you, you're gonna feel it when it's gone. Whether that's, you know, whatever that is. So yeah, brutal. Big Time said, my friend had to put his dog down last year after 11 years because health was deteriorating. Coughing blurred and the legs were going. It was either keep him alive in pain or stop the suffering. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, when we found out that she was going to stay for 2 weeks, I was like, this is going to be horrific, because every day you're going to count down until that day where she's got to be put down. And as I said, when she went to the vets the first time yesterday, she seemed absolutely fine. You know, she seemed to still have life in herself. I don't know if it was the stress of going to the vets, or if there was a stroke, or if there was some, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know as to what it actually was. But something happened yesterday morning. When I ended the Raw stream, she was fine. I didn't see her when she went to the vets. I was down here doing work, so I didn't see, but I was told that she seemingly was fine. Everything was normal. But my brother who took her said it seemed to be that she took a turn at the vets. Don't know if it was the stress. She didn't like going, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll never know what it was, but something took a turn for the worse. So there was no way, though. I mean, she was lying on the garden, flat out like that, tongue sticking out to the side, like really shallow. I mean, there wasn't really a decision to be made. She was making it for us. So, yeah, that's hard. That's really hard. I mean, like, if you've got a pet that's coughing up blood and their legs have gone and they're in pain, you know, you're definitely doing the right thing by putting them out of that suffering. But God, not a decision you want to have to make, is it? It is brutal. Honestly, mate, it is brutal. I kind of have thought that about this day a few times and about what it'll feel like when it comes, and it's just as worse, if not even worse than what I anticipated. So brutal. Yeah, thoughts with anyone that's been through that or whatever. Hannah said, hope you're doing well. Hope you got a lot of great memories. That's what wrestling is here for, to make sure we have something to look forward to. Yeah, it's good for a distraction, isn't it? I must admit, it is nice to have a distraction. So, like, I didn't watch the England game earlier. I just wasn't bothered. I was kind of in the mood of like, well, if they go through, they're great, they're through. If they don't, then I'm glad I didn't watch it. So I was just like, I'm going to see if I can get a few hours, because I knew I wanted to try and come back. I wanted to try and come back and do this stream, mainly because the shock of what happened yesterday is kind of, settled down. But also, like, I want to start that process of moving forward as well. So obviously there's going to be a bit of chatter about it now. I knew there would. And I was, I had to make sure I'd be all right for that conversation, because had we have done this yesterday, I would not have made it through the stream without breaking down every few minutes. And I think, like, I'm obviously in I understand it. My head's around it. It's been over 24 hours. Well, it's been, don't know. I think she went about 2 p.m. yesterday, was it? 1, 2, something like that. So it has been coming up to 36 hours since she went. So the shock of it's wore off. I've had a little bit of a sleep. I can talk about it without breaking down, which is good. That's good for streaming. That's a positive for streaming. But yeah, it'd be good to do this. Turn our attention to the wrestling worlds. Talk about a bit of wrestling, but also get any of this sort of chatter out the way, so that we can do the SmackDown stream and just do it normally. I really want to just do a normal SmackDown stream. And, by the time we get to Friday, we should be able to do that. So, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, this is a little bit of something that's been happening behind the scenes. So you might have noticed, like, unseen not happening and things like that. And part of it is to do with her. The fact that her health has really deteriorated, actually, over the past few months. Her legs in particular have really gone, and to the point where she was like scraping her back legs kind of on our drive and on our path, and that's like sandpaper. So her paw was starting to like really wear down, and there was blood that was kind of bleeding everywhere, and she was licking it. I don't know that she was in pain. I genuinely think it was numb. I mean, she would let you touch it, which is a good sign that it wasn't pain. But it was obviously not good, because she was kind of wearing her paw down with dragging it. So we sort of knew that this couldn't continue, and there was no fix for it. So we knew that, we were looking at this being the last year. It's just we didn't know. And then obviously whatever's happened has happened, and she's took a turn for the worse, and really, I suppose in a way, took the decision out of our hands. So yes, the focus is do Evolve. We'll focus on Evolve. And hopefully then we can just do a pretty normal SmackDown stream. So, yeah. Kane said, I used to have a couple of dogs in 2023. One of my dogs passed away, and I'm sad to hear about your dog. Well, Kane, again, sympathy with you, but you'll know exactly then what it's like going through it. It's funny because, like, as I said, we never had a dog. So as I was growing up, and certainly at work, when people used to come in and say their dog had passed away, you'd obviously have sympathy, and you'd be like, I'm really sorry to hear that, mate. Just like, how kind of all of you to, say those words. But I only now do I realize I didn't really understand. Only now do I realize that, like, yeah, no, that was actually a bigger deal than what I thought. Because you go, I'm really sorry about that, and you share your sympathy and everything, but only now going through it do you realise, like, just how massive of a part of the family. I mean, in a way, it is. Your whole life revolves around them. Because they can't do so many things for themselves. Like, you know, they can't take themselves for walks. They can't get their own food, you know? And, you know, they can't let themselves out. We didn't have a dog flap or anything, so anytime she wanted to go out, she'd bark. Anytime she wanted to come in, we'd have to open the door, she'd bark. Our front door is about there. So, you know, if she ever barked to come in, I could hear it down here, because I'm not too far, actually, from the front door. So many, many, many times, I mean, I'm talking thousands of times over the years, would I be sat down here working, I would hear her and I'd have to go upstairs to let her in. And that even happened a few times during streams. So, yeah, it's just such a big part of your life that's sort of changing. And since we moved into this house, she's always been here as well. So, and she's been the guard dog as well. Do you know what I mean? Not that you think about burglars or people attacking you or whatever, but it was comforting to know she was out there a lot. And if anyone got close to the house, she would be barking. You know, she was a very good protective dog. German Shepherds are very good, very protective. And, you know, she'd be out there. And she loved it out there. So, yeah, it sucks. So, Kane, I'm sorry to hear that, but it just means that, you know, I can feel what you felt. You're feeling what I feel. So, we've some of us here have been through it, and it's brutal. Hope you're well. Sure, we got great memories. Hannah, thank you. Ian said it was a scary England game today. Thanks to Sir Harry Kane. Big game versus Mexico coming. Yeah, I can't really comment, to be honest. I mean, I watched the highlights. So I saw that England left it late to like the 75th minute, but I saw that we had a fair few chances before that. If I look at the XG, which is like expected goals, how many goals should England have scored, or how many goals should Congo have scored? 2-1 is very fair. 2-1 is actually what expected goals says. It says England should have scored 2. It says Congo should have scored 1. And it's just, all that does is it just looks at chances, misses, possession, where the game was being played. It just puts all of that into a pot, mixes it up, and then gives you an XG and expected goals. And England's was like 2.08, and I think Congo was like 0.8 or something. So that says to me that, I didn't watch the game, but it seems like England were worthy winners. It seems like 2-1 is very, very fair. It's obviously not the 5-0 that a lot of England fans would have liked to have seen. But actually, I thought Congo were going to be difficult. I mean, they drew earlier in this game, a tournament with Portugal, 0-0. So they drew with Portugal 0-0. I'm not sure of their other results, but I know the Portugal game was a draw 0-0. They kept Portugal quiet. I know they've not conceded many goals. I actually went back through a lot of their recent results a couple of days ago. And I saw that, like, they weren't getting smashed by anyone. They weren't playing the biggest teams, but there was a few games in there where they played people and they weren't getting smashed. So I sort of expected it to be close. I predicted 2-0 England. Obviously, the goal they score early is a real setback, but actually, I mean, it's good that England don't crumble, don't panic, don't buckle. That might be good for England to have kind of gone behind and had to come back. So the game, I think, largely has gone the way that I expected. I expected 2-0. It was 2-1. Okay. England don't score until the 75th minute. Okay. Wish it was a bit earlier, but, you know, okay. And Kane gets the winner in the 85th or something. Okay. Wish it was earlier, but hey, got the job done. And so next it's Mexico in Mexico, which, you know, I would fancy England against Mexico. England, Mexico, who wins? I think it's England. But doing it in Mexico with that crazy Mexican support. I mean, there was 1 million Mexicans on the street. I don't know if you've seen the video, but there's a video of 1 million Mexicans on the street just partying away after they managed to get past Ecuador. And also footage of them keeping Ecuador players awake at night, because they went outside the Ecuador hotel and they were like banging drums and honking car horns all night long, trying to keep the players awake because they found where the players were staying. So you are going into like a friendly war zone, where they're going to do whatever they can to disrupt your preparation. The stadium, the Azteca, is one of the great football stadiums in the world. It's 80-odd thousand. It's going to be rammed full of Mexican support. It's going to be like 90-odd% Mexican fans going mental. I mean, it is going to be a true World Cup spectacle. It is going to be a true unmissable moment, unmissable game. Does that equalize things? Yeah, I think it's close. I think it's really close. I will not be shocked, because the other thing as well is it's above sea level, isn't it? It's like 2,000 something feet above sea level. It's so high. You have to kind of acclimatize to it. You have to get used to being at that height above sea level. And apparently that can take a long time. So England have got to sort of get in, play the game, and get back out again. They're not going to have time to acclimatize. Whilst you're up there, I think it's harder to breathe. It's going to zap the energy. Mexico are used to it. Mexico have acclimatized. Their bodies are kind of, used to it. So all these little advantages for Mexico, I think, do take any differences between them and the opposition away. And I don't know, man. If England get it, it'll be one of the great England World Cup wins ever. 100%. 100% it'd be one of England's great. To play Mexico in Mexico at altitude, and a Mexican team that's, I think, not conceded yet, and also doing really well. I mean, they're free flowing, very expressive. Oh, it's gonna be good. England are gonna really be up against it. That's this weekend, and I believe USA tonight, is it not? USA play tonight. I think America play. So USA football, is that the next game? Is it? Might even be on at the same time as. It is. Yeah, USA in 25 minutes against Bosnia. I think what I'm gonna do is watch this. Obviously, Evolve. Be good to do this stream, get back into, a routine. Definitely we're here for SmackDown. I've already set the stream up so everyone knows. And get back into that routine. So I'm going to be back for SmackDown, but I think I might watch the second half of that. I really hope USA go through. I really hope USA go through. I think it's brilliant for, the USA to feel a connection to the World Cup. And the further they go, the more the hype's going to grow and the more people are going to get involved with it in America. And I just think that, like, if Americans can get a taste of how exciting this is and for the world, then, which I know many of you have already had, but there's some out there that don't get it yet, not interested yet, and that's fine. But as USA continue to move forwards, perhaps more people will, check it out. FOMO, fear of missing out and everything, So, yeah, didn't realise that's tonight, but we'll keep an eye on that. Right, King Yeti said there was one person called Kay Barkington that was in the chat. Sean said, Daze, I would love at the end if we did Seth Roman and it was just clean, and then at the end, whoever wins, a show of respect to the other. It would be a beautiful way to close that story of the Shield. I agree. I think that would be really, really cool. Wyatt said, how you feeling? It was a shame we didn't get your reaction to Nikki Blackheart. Yeah, I haven't actually watched NXT, but I have seen like a few things that went down. I saw that Nikki Blackheart thing, her arrival, and I saw that we're doing like Natalia against Kendall. I saw Kendall eating a cake. So just clips, because obviously I went online to post that, message so that people knew that we weren't doing it. To be honest, I mean, during that, I was kind of sat with my family, just talking, just constantly trying to find something you can say that's going to make you feel better, and just completely not finding anything that's going to do that. Nothing will do that. It's just a process, isn't it? You're just going through a process. So yeah, I can't say I was sat here watching NXT. I was kind of upstairs for a bit, and then I was thinking of going to bed for a bit. I mean, I can't, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you what I've done timeline wise. Like, I've just been going to bed for an hour if I felt like I might sleep, and then sometimes I haven't, so I've got back up, and sometimes I'm talking to my family, sometimes I'm checking my phone to see if there's any big wrestling news, or, you know, then I'm thinking about, okay, well, when's the World Cup game? And then I'm thinking, am I even bothered? Oh, I've been all over the place. I ain't got a clue. I could not, after the moment she passed, I could not tell you exactly hour by hour what I've done. I've done a bit of everything at some point everywhere, apart from watch NXT. So, yes, I'll have to watch it and try and, you know, catch up with it. But interesting that she's in. I think she will obviously end up replacing probably a Tatum, who feels like she's very much going to the main roster, but it's felt that way for a while, hasn't it? Connor said, here's the round of 16 so far. Mexico, England, France, Paraguay, Canada, Morocco, Brazil, Norway, Belgium against USA or Bosnia. Yeah, that Belgium result is a shock. I tell you what, USA, you've just had a gift there, because I would much rather play Belgium than Senegal. And, you know, that real last second penalty that was just given. I mean, I just did a member stream, and as soon as I finished, I went upstairs to have something to eat, because I haven't eaten today. So I went upstairs to have something to eat, and as I said, weird, because she's normally there. And I just watched the very end of that game, and then, of course, came down here and started this stream. So I did see that penalty right at the very end in the 120th minute, whatever. So that was pretty bonkers. So I think that's good, though. Belgium have got a lot of good players, but I think the togetherness of the USA team, I think you could get past Belgium. Robbie says, earlier today on the Sean Ross Sapp podcast, I sent a super chat regarding the status of Leon Slater. He said all signs are pointing to WWE in the fall. Robbie, thank you. Miss Dell Jr. said, are we doing a retro watch along tomorrow so that you can forget worries and forget what's happened in the world right now? If that is a war or anything negative, you could do Fully Loaded 2000. There's no plans. To be honest, tomorrow I'm meant to actually be going out. So it's a little up in the air, because I have no idea if that's happening. I mean, I have no appetite to do it. But if there is, like, you know, I was meant to be going out with my dad and my brother, and I have no idea if they've got an appetite to do it either. So I'm going to have to see what they say, to be honest. We haven't even had that conversation. So no, there's no plan. Tomorrow's going to be messy, to be honest, because I don't know what's happening. So this is why I say back to normal. I can certainly say Friday. There is no doubt about SmackDown. SmackDown is absolutely happening. So we'll be here for that. And I've avoided spoilers as well, which is fantastic. I've no idea about what's happening spoiler-wise. So I've been able to avoid those. USA are playing today, said Grizzly Bears. Yeah, wish them all the best. 19 minutes. It's going to be a tricky game. I think if you can get that first goal, that's key. Because if you can get that first goal, then you can really, get at them, because they're going to have to come at you. The thing with Bosnia is they're just very well organised. They're a very good team. You know, they knocked Italy out in the qualifiers. So it was either going to be Bosnia or Italy at this World Cup. That's what it came down to. And it was Bosnia that won. So this is a team that was able to get past Italy. And Italy aren't great at the moment, but, you know, it's still Italy. It's still Italy. So this is not a walk in the park for the USA. In fact, I don't even know what the odds are. Sometimes you can click and it'll give you a probability. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is a probability. I'm going to just show you, just on Google. If you just click on the actual game, it says there's a 72% chance for USA, which is actually bigger than I would have thought. I would have said 60%. Then extra time is 17%. Bosnia, 11%. So 72% that USA win the game. And then the rest is either extra time or Bosnia. And those are the lineups there. So Pulisic playing, Balogun, all the Dest, McKennie, Adams, Robinson. I tell you, I do look at your team and I do see a lot of Pulisic, Dest, McKennie, Adams, Robinson. I think they're great players. Those five, Balogun's, managed to get a few goals as well. Don't know much about Tillman or Richards or Freese, your keeper. I'm not sure. But there's a few players there that I really recognise as being able to cause problems. I expect USA to go through. So, early goal, settle the nerves. Wrestle Andy said, Daze, I know they did it before SmackDown, but a proper Wrestling World Cup would be great if it was done properly. Maybe even trying to get different companies involved. I agree. It would be really fun if it was done properly. They actually did a little something with teams in AAA, where they had like Team Japan, Team Canada and everything. So there was a little something, I think last year maybe, or earlier this year, where they had like some teams, different countries. So I don't know if that could be evolved into something. I'm shocked, actually, that WWE haven't done anything to try and capitalize on the World Cup, because normally, historically, we've seen them do that, where they'll actually put a World Cup on so that when you search World Cup, there's a chance that WWE footage pops up and that they can kind of be, visible as part of people searching World Cup and hashtag World Cup and all of that. I mean, it's quite clever to capitalize on that, but for some reason they've just not felt the need this time around. So not sure the thinking there. Rapture said, do we think WWE is pushing over Roman to Mania or sometime before? I feel like The Rock still hasn't decided whether he's going to wrestle. Yeah, I think they're pushing that back. I think that it's the right thing to do. I think I totally understand the criticism of people saying, Oba shouldn't forfeit his title opportunity, which I completely agree with. He shouldn't forfeit it. I think if he wants to face Brock at SummerSlam, I don't think it should be that difficult for him to have a word with Adam Pearce and to say to Adam Pearce, look, I won King of the Ring, but I've got this opportunity to face Brock. I've got to face Brock. Like, can I just have that, match at whenever? Yeah. Well, I don't know when the next big show is going to be. I mean, it could be Survivor Series. I mean, Survivor Series is a pretty big deal. I think, it's regarded as one of the big four. It's debatable as to whether it is. But, I mean, it is a show that goes back to the 1980s. It's the biggest show that we do in the winter. So, well, I mean, Rumble as well, of course, is winter technically. But I feel like Survivor Series is probably the next big show after. You could even make an argument for Money in the Bank. The only thing I would say is Money in the Bank doesn't tend to be in a stadium, whereas Survivor Series has been. Whereas Money in the Bank tends to be an arena. So Money in the Bank can feel smaller, whereas Survivor Series can feel bigger because of the venue. So I don't know. I don't know if they've announced. They might have announced where Survivor Series is, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. So I don't know. I feel like he should be allowed to just push his title opportunity down the road. And if that ends up being Roman, then so be it. But I think I would save it for WrestleMania if I could, because I think it's the biggest match. And I think, the biggest match should really ideally go down at Mania. So all you got to do is just kick the can down the road, delay it, have them cross paths, make it difficult for them to actually get in a ring against each other. Make it so they, Oba wants to fight Roman, but for some reason just can't get to him at the moment. And, eventually it builds to early next year. Bang, yeah, we do it. But as you said, if The Rock's going to do Mania next year, then that's even bigger. So you would absolutely do Rock Roman. So that is the key piece of information that's going to decide how you book this. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I think there's probably a lot of casual fans that don't really think that way. They just think like, I want Roman Oba now. Why am I not getting it? But it's like, you do have to think long term, because if you haven't got The Rock, then you want as big a match as you can have for WrestleMania, and certainly next year, because it's in Saudi. So you want as big a match as possible. You want to go the biggest you can go. Rock Roman is that. But I think the second one is Roman Oba. I think Roman Oba is bigger than Roman Seth to me. I think that Roman Oba is the match. We've already done Roman CM Punk. Obviously, we've done Cody Roman. I don't think Cody CM Punk is bigger than Roman Oba. I mean, Oba is the monster of this generation, and he will, beat Brock again. I'm sure of it. So, he will have got the better of Brock. He will have probably retired Brock. So, I mean, Oba's going to be the monster, and Roman is the biggest star we've got. So this is why, for me, if you don't have Rock next year, then yeah, absolutely, this is the biggest match, and absolutely, you are well within your right to try and just delay it, kick it down the road, make people want to see it, and then, finally pull the trigger. It's something fans struggle a bit with, because a lot of fans, not people here, but a lot of fans just want everything now. We live in a world where it's like, I want it now. Instant gratification. The patience is very low, and attention spans are quite low as well. People want something, they want it now. If they don't get it, you run the risk of them moving on, whatever. But it is right to save it. It is right to make sure that WrestleMania has got the biggest match possible, and I don't think a rematch would be as big. That first time meeting would be the big one. So yeah, I do think they're saving it. I think they're right to save it if they haven't got the Rock thing. Robbie said, I read the spoilers for SmackDown and next week's NXT. I won't be able to watch NXT on Tuesday. I've got a trip. Well, I hope your trip goes well. Ampy Ballin says, much love, family, appreciate all you do for the community in the channel. Ampy Ballin, shout out to you, my friends. Rapture said, what do we think about Cape Verde's performance? Yeah, I think that it's been, there's been a lot of criticism about the World Cup actually going to 48 teams. I am adamant it needs to get bigger, and even more so now. But I was saying this on a stream the other day, that I was worried when it went from 32 teams to 48, because what are those teams you're going to be adding? You're going to be adding Curacao, you're going to be adding Cape Verde, you're going to be adding Jordan, you're going to be adding, teams that don't feel like they are of the kind of elite caliber that you would expect of a World Cup, right? But there's a couple of arguments, and that is, look at some of the results. I mean, Cape Verde drawing with Spain is like one of the great World Cup results. I mean, that is crazy to actually, for them to draw with Spain is crazy. And we've seen a few upset. I mean, we've seen some hammer-ins as well. Curacao getting battered, I think was in it like 7-1 or something against Germany. So, I mean, we have seen what we feared. But equally, Cape Verde provided us with, brilliant talking points. I mean, that 0-0 was as big as a win. I mean, their little collection of islands just off Africa, And there's like, I don't know how many people, like, I don't know, a couple of 100,000 that live there. So, I mean, tiny. There are, you know, cities 10 times, if not more. I mean, I think Birmingham in the UK has got 2 million people in it. You know, and here's Cape Verde that's got 200,000 or 300,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. The little town that I grew up in, Stourbridge, that's 60,000 people. I mean, they're, you know, 5 times bigger than that, and that's it. That's everything they've got to choose from. The fact you can get a team capable of qualifying for the World Cup out of that is mental. It's unfathomable. And then the fact that you could not only get a team together that's capable of qualifying, but is capable of drawing 0-0 with Spain. What? That's insane. That is insane. So I think it's been magical. I think it's been fantastic. And it's sort of changed my opinion about, like, should the World Cup have gone to 48? I now think it should be 64. And the reason for that is because I don't like this third place finish nonsense. The third place finish, I don't like it because you don't know who's through until all the groups are done. Like Scotland didn't know days after they played if they were through or not. Plus also some teams didn't know who they were going to face because the order of third place was changing. It's hard to manage. It's hard to track. I hate the third place thing. And so actually if you went to 64 teams, you could get rid of third place and it's just the top 2 go through rather than what we're doing now, which is like the top 2 but also some third places but not all third places. It's just a lot cleaner if you go to 64 because it's top 2 in every group, go through, that gives you your round of 32 and it's a lot cleaner. And so actually I think going to 64 would improve that. It would mean more teams could play. And actually, having seen how well a lot of these teams have performed, these extra teams, I've got a bit more confidence about doing that. So, yeah, I think they've sort of helped change my mind a little bit when I was worried that actually it's a good thing. And it's been great seeing just different places around the world getting behind their team, you know? Imagine if we made it a bit bigger so even more people could be involved. And when you think about the teams that aren't here, there's still a lot of good teams that could be here. Wales are a decent team. Denmark are a decent team. Italy are a decent team. And we don't have them. Costa Rica, you know, can contribute and, you know, are able to provide. Venezuela is, you know, a team that can frustrate. So I don't know. I mean, it's not hard to kind of go down the list and find, you know, decent sized teams like Finland, like Italy in particular, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Iceland as well, who kicked England out in 2016. They're not here. So there's you know, a lot of teams that could be here. Jamaica, I mean, how great would it be if Jamaica were in the tournament? Imagine the flavour they would bring. So going to 64, I think, would mean more people can enjoy the World Cup. I think it gets rid of the third place thing. And I think I've learned a lesson that, yes, okay, some teams are going to get battered, like we've seen. But also some teams will cause some upsets, like Cape Verde did. So, yeah, they've got Argentina next. I would just like to wish them all the very best on their flight home. Because you ain't keeping Messi out, are you? So I think their journey's coming to an end. But could you imagine? Could you imagine if they dump them out? That would be absolutely insane. Apparently Vikingo is injured, but the severity is not known, says Robbie. Yeah, I saw that about Vikingo getting jumped backstage. So that's very disappointing. I think a lot of people were very excited to see what he was going to bring to NXT. I still don't have the file up at the moment, which is a little bit of a concern, because it's normally up by now. So I don't have... I've got Tubi. Tubi's open, but I just don't have this week's episodes. Perhaps it's going to drop in a minute or so. Okay. Do we think that Ilya and Gunther should have a match on the main roster? If they do, it would be an absolute banger at WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Well, it just depends. I mean, they can cross paths anywhere. I mean, they should face each other because they faced each other before a couple of times in developmental, and it is some of the absolute best matches with some of the absolute best chemistry. They just know each other so well that it's just a treat. It's such a treat. So I think they will cross paths, yes. Whether it's at a PLE, it depends what the story is. But I think they will definitely cross paths. Okay, this is still not up for me on Tubi at the moment. I don't know if any of you have got the video file. Do we think that Brock Lesnar over Hell in a Cell is going to main event night 1? I think so. It could main event night 2. It could be that they want to give Brock that big final send-off and give him the night 2 main event. But I expect Roman Seth to main event one night, and I expect Oba and Brock to main event the other night. I also expect EO Liv to be a very high-profile match, and actually Angel Imperius, who joined us for Wrestle Feud, and it was great having a chat with him. He was saying that he expects that to be like a co-main event. And a co-main event is a bit weird because you'd expect the co-main event to be just before the main event. But actually, WWE tend to put a lot of those big co-main event type matches at the very start of the show. Because they want the show to start big. They want people tuning in, not coming later or whatever, but like, you know, watching from the beginning. So that co-main event slot can be like the opening match, and it's still deemed as a co-main in some regard. So I expect like EO and Liv to have one of those. I don't know if it'd be night 1 or night 2, but I'd expect him to have one of those. Has any of you got this video? Because I'm sat here refreshing. It's still not there for me. I've got Evolve. I mean, Evolve, all the previous episodes are there, but I don't have the new episode, which is really strange. That does not normally happen, to be honest. Perhaps this thing's going to drop as soon as we reach like 1. Perhaps some clown has set the video to go live at 1. Because we know these are not live, they're taped. So perhaps someone set it to go live at 1 rather than go live at 5 minutes before. There it is. That's exactly what they've done. The video file is there now. So I'm going to press play on it. And we're going to get underway with this week's episode. So I've pressed play. We are 8 seconds in. So yeah, we're underway now. So the video is there. Normally they said it to go live at 5:02, but it looks like someone said it to go live bang on the hour this week, which, bit dumb. But it doesn't matter. I just like to have it ready. But I've pressed play. I'm at 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. That's where I am with this episode. Okay, we're starting off with Kev on stage. These athletes will soon take over the world, says Kev on stage. Okay, so he's just talking about what we've had over previous weeks. Okay, so he's just talking about how he wants to see Layla against Gianna Capri. Harlem Lewis, Braxton Cole, no DQ match. It's Goal is meant to be on this episode as well, though. I mean, he made that match last week. He's just talking about the 6-man tag. It's an elimination match as well. So when you get pinned, the match isn't over. You're just eliminated. I'm a G like Ali. Okay. Wendy, Choo, and Thea Hale competing in a tournament to crown the first TNA Knockouts television champion, says Robbie. Oba is going to retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, says Connor. Big Time said that NXT PLE did 394 against Forbidden Door. If we wonder, in that time slot, Jaws did 667, Bridesmaid the week before 578, all free of cost. Wow. Bad result then. That's good data, that is, Big Time. I like that a lot. Because honestly, I wouldn't know if like 400,000 is good for that or not, because of it being on a Sunday and at that time. So it's actually really good information to know that there's a couple of films that have been there and they've done, what did you say? 667 and 578. WWE, I think really, they hurt themselves, arguably even more than they hurt AEW by putting shows up against AEW. I don't really get it. I mean, I suppose the logic is even if we just hurt them a bit, we'll just hurt them a bit. We'll do whatever we can. But it's so strange, isn't it? Because you didn't even really book anything that, like, attention grabbing, you know? It wasn't like we had Bron Breakker coming back or something crazy, you know, or some legend. It was just like a pretty standard show. It was just kind of like a TV special type show that you would expect from NXT. It wasn't anything crazy. So I don't know. I don't really understand the logic, to be honest. I'm sure someone has got a strategy. But yeah, I think they very much hurt themselves on that one. Yeah, that's good data, that is. Anya Rune is in the VIP lounge. She is pretty fun to watch. I like her gimmick. Okay, Gianna against Layla. Kick coming in there by Gianna. Layla round the back. I like Layla as well. I think that's Mason Holiday at ringside. She actually has left WWE now. She put a little message out, I think it was last week, just saying, like, she's done. She went in, had a word with her coaches, said that this just was not for her. She just wasn't feeling it. And even though, you know, she might be able to get to the main roster, whatever, this just isn't for her. So, fair play. This is just not what she wants to do with her life, and you can respect that. Driving a shoulder into the midsection. Over the top goes Layla. Nice kick to the midsection there by Layla. Looking for a suplex. No. Bang. Slamming her down against the ropes. Oh, big knee. 1, 2. Layla Diggs in control. First NXT match was against Jada Parker in May of 2026. Oh, NXT, yeah. I was going to say, we've been watching her longer than that. Kick to the midsection there by Gianna as Layla goes to the outside. Mason is coming round. Just checking on her. Layla back in. Knee coming into the back there by Capri. Layla going over to the corner. Gianna Capri trains at Flatback Wrestling School. 20 years as a ballerina. Kick coming in. Going for a cover to... A little bit early there from Gianna Capri. Layla down. Layla in a bit of trouble here. Shot coming into the midsection. 640 is where we are. Over in the corner goes Layla. Capri coming in. Collides into... Oh, kick coming in. Collides into Layla. She picks her up. Bang. Yeah. Belly to back. And then going for a cover. I don't like the psychology of this. I don't get it. Going for covers when the opponent has already kicked out always looks dumb to me. In fact, I would even go as far as to say, has anyone actually succeeded ever in going for a cover, the person kicking out, and then you go for a cover? You don't do any other move. You cover, kick out, you go for a cover, and then you get the 1, 2, 3. Has that ever happened in any match? Because I can't recall ever seeing it. Pin, kick out, pin, I've won the match. I've never seen it. Not unless it's a different pin, like a backslide, and they can't get out of it, you know? But that is not what Capri just did. She just did a standard hooking of the leg. Capri in the corner. Charging in there. Robbie said, Sean was talking about Takahashi today. He's still expected, but it's unknown when. I saw there was some movement with Enzo and Big Cass. I did see that. Looks like they're both on the way. But yeah, no, nothing on Takahashi, is there? So Capri down. Vanta the Unknown reminds me of Bracehead Street's fighter, Ingrid. Really excited for her. I am going to punish you. I like Anyaroon. I like the fact that she is like an anime girl, but I don't think that's it. Is she like... Has she got issues? She's sort of looking at her hands, wondering why no fireballs came out or something. She just tried to do a Hadouken. What did she think was going to happen? It still provided a distraction, in all fairness. Layla managing to hit a beautiful moonsault. It's a lovely looking moonsault. Layla Diggs is a really fun watch. Layla should probably go over and give Anya a bit of a thank you there. Okay, here's Braxton Cole. Braxton Cole seems to have like some NXT rules. Why don't they sell that? I want that book. There's an NXT rules book. He's saying that they can't do this to me. I want the NXT rule book. Okay, Braxton gets thrown into the ring steps, and we've gone straight from one match into the other. We're 10 minutes 45. That's where I am. As we've gone to a bit of a commercial. There we go. Gianna against Layla. It was okay. It wasn't mind-blowing. I think the Anya Rune moment is probably the talking point. She is a quirky character, though. Why she would be under the impression she can throw fireballs, I'm not sure. But, okay, there we go. Commercial. Maybe she thinks she's a Street Fighter character, says Street Fighter Ingrid's. To be honest, at some point in our lives, I think we all think we're Street Fighter characters. Wasn't there a WWE Book of Rules like a decade ago? There was, and I have it. I think, I don't know, it should be up there somewhere. Should be on my shelf, but I can't quite see it. But I have it. It was disappointing, to be honest with you. They released this rule book, and there was a lot of chatter online about, oh, I can't wait for this. But it was nonsense. It was just nonsense. It had like rules, but they weren't like anything exciting. And then it had like notes that were written next to it by the wrestlers. Like, this doesn't apply if I'm in the match, written like by the Miz. It obviously wasn't written like on by him. It was printed to look like he'd written it. But there was like all that you could flick through in these, and you just sort of flick through and you're like, there's nothing to learn here. It's just, I don't know, it's just nonsense. I didn't think it was a good book at all. If I'm looking and I can't see it, but I swear it was up there. Because I was quite excited for it. Because I was like, oh, this will be good. See if there's anything that to be learned, you know. Harlem throwing in a few shots. Clothesline, no joy. Ooh, big knee coming in by Harlem Lewis. Okay, the shirt's been took off here by Harlem Lewis. Braxton Cole goes to the outside. He's got it. Is that a cricket bat? Oh! Blimey now. Why was there a cricket bat there? He says to someone in the crowd, give me your belt. The guy hands it. He's a big guy as well. I'm sure he must be a PC guy. He gets the belt. So Braxton. Whoa! Braxton whipping Harlem Lewis with that belt. And again. Braxton Cole in control. And again, another shot coming in. Harlem going over to the corner. Oh, he's kind of whipped him about 4 or 5 times there. Forearm shot coming in. And now Harlem Lewis is taking his belt off. We've had... now he's whipping Braxton Cole. We've had... fair play. I mean, we started off with, you know, women's match. Always good to see Layla in action. Now we've got this no DQ. Oh, my God. Lovely driver. 1, 2. Kick out there by Braxton. We've had a cricket bat. We've had tennis rackets. We've had belts. Tickets for SummerSlam are available now. Currently 0-0 in the USA game as well. Just got the score next to me on my phone. DDT. Braxton in control. We need to do a community tier list of the best cake, says Robbie. I think Sloane Jacobs would score well. I think Lola would score maybe S tier. I think La Hydra, for anyone that's seen her and what she brings to the bake sale, I think she would be S tier. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the kind of content that would probably get the channel shut down, but maybe that's the kind of edgy content we need to be doing, you know? Oh, is that a pool cue? And a paddle? He's got like a snook. Yeah, that's a snooker cue. Bang! Pool cue, snooker cue. That was under there. What? Why is there so many weapons? Why have we got a cricket bat and a pool cue? Okay, he's trying to trap him. Shot coming in. Is that... I think it's broken, hasn't it? By the looks of it, it looks broken. Forearm shot coming in by Harlem Lewis. And again, throwing in some forearms. He's got Braxton. Smashing him into the edge of the ring. So Braxton in the ring. Harlem Lewis going back in. Bang. We got a bacon tray. That goes down. Going to look for a DDT maybe. Picks him up and slams him down. The X-Plex doesn't get it. Slams him down on that bacon tray. Can you not count quick, says Cole. Cole. to the outsides. Having a little look under the ring, grabbing... What are we getting now? Kendo sticks. Looks like there's a trash can under there. And we've got... I don't know what we've got. A mop. A mop. I must say, there's a lot of originality with the weapons. We've seen a snooker cue. We've seen a cricket bat. We've seen tennis rackets. Now we've got a mop. Yeah, he does. And he smashes it over the back of Harlem Lewis. Absolutely wallops him with it. And again, got a couple of more mops there. Bang. So smashing him away with the... I think is this another mop by the looks of it. It's got two handles, this one. I think this that might be two mops tied together. Braxton Cole in control. Oh, that was quite clever by Harlem Lewis. He grabbed the mop that was down on the ground, pulled it up. It's a low blow. He's looking to separate these two mops. He's got an idea as to what he wants to do. Smashes it across the back there of Braxton. Braxton in the corner. Yeah, it's kind of clever. Braxton has been mocking Harlem Lewis. Harlem Lewis shoving the mop right in the face of Braxton Cole. Grabbing him, middle of the ring, looking to put him away. Got him up. Oh, lovely. 1, 2, 3. Harlem Lewis wins. Harlem Lewis wins. No DQ match. I thought it was quite watchable. Elijah Holyfield is looking like a damn star. I want to see him. And Keanu Carver says, Wyatt 6661. The cricket bat seemed a bit suspect. I don't think Florida is a big cricket hub. No, and neither of these guys are English, are they? I don't believe Braxton Cole is meant to be. So it's the kind of thing you'd expect if like Charlie Dempsey was in a match or Tristan Angels. But yeah, I agree. A little bit strange, but I'm not down on it. Jennifer said, I like Dragon Ball Z, but I don't think I'm going to be throwing a fireball. Yeah, that was strange. That was strange. Pat said the most important rule in NXT is don't walk in the parking lot alone. Very true. Very, very true. Blake is going to be S tier. She would have a category of her own, says Robbie. This is the Harlem Violence World Tour. Aaron Rourke's coming out, the champ. The Evolve champs come out. Hello, Mr. Lewis. Okay. I have to say thank you, says Aaron Rourke. I haven't forgot what you've done for me. Okay, Aaron and Harlem. Quite respectful. Crowd are chanting for a title match. Title match. Title match. There's a title match chant. So that's Aaron Rourke's plan. He's going to say thank you to Harlem Lewis for his help by giving him a title match. Okay. It's all very friendly, isn't it? Harlem shakes Aaron's hands, holds on, looks at the belt. Okay. Right. JC and Charlotte would also be S tier wardrobe malfunction. Could you imagine a wardrobe malfunctions video? That would get me cancelled. Okay, here's Sloane Jacobs. Oh yeah, forgot. She won the championship, didn't she? I forgot about that. Okay. Championship coronation, a championship celebration next week for Nikita. Okay. Okay, I'm at 23:40. 23:40, so we've got about half an hour left of Evolve. Big Time said, I think WWE should test run the appetite for another NXT show on a weekday instead of going headfirst into head-to-heads. Maybe. I think it's difficult because you can't do Monday, you can't do Tuesday. If you do Wednesday, you're going head-to-head with AEW. If you do Thursday, you're going head-to-head with TNA. And we've obviously got a partnership there. And you can't do Friday because of SmackDown. So weekdays, I think, are very challenging. I just think there's enough Sundays where there's no competition. Do you know what I mean? Like what's going on this Sunday? How much say do they have over that? I don't know. I mean, I can't believe that it was not done intentionally. I can't believe WWE had no say in putting it up against AEW. So yeah, their rating, I'm sure, would be much better if it was happening this Sunday rather than Sunday just gone. But they did it, and they did it on purpose, I'm sure. So they, need to look at this rating and decide whether it was worth it. Okay, Kale Dixon has come out then. He's got to get some stuff off his chest. I left my ego at the door, and that didn't do anything for me. Cal Dixon said, I don't understand these fans. There's a guy in the crowd that went, well, that's your fault. Oh, what? You suck. I want to see Cal Dixon against one of those guys in the crowd that are throwing shade at him. He's done a good job of getting heat, hasn't he? Look at this. Look at this reaction. I'm a superstar, says Kale Dixon. The tone of his voice. Promo style and tone of his voice is giving me a bit of Austin Theory. Loud you suck chance. You'd better get used to this face, says Kale Dixon. Someone just yelled Chewy. Hit him with the mic. This microphone doesn't leave my lips unless I tell you it's leaving my lips. Oh, that woman's his business partner? Hot people. Oh, here she is. I still don't know her name. Hot people hang out with other hot people. The obsession, the fantasy, the moment. What's your name? What's your name? Obsession, fantasy, moment, woman. Here's Dark State. Cutler James. Here we go. She gives such strong Lana vibes, that woman, whoever she is. I still don't know who she is. Here we go. Cutler James in the ring. He just doesn't look like a bad man to me, Cutler James. He comes out mean mugging. Ah! Get him, it's goal! Get him! It's goal. No entrance for it's goal. Tries to blindside Cutler James. Sun's out, guns out. Goal, 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 goal. Bella sounded. We're underway. Yes. Bang. Step up in Zaguri. Against the ropes goes goal. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, kick out. Go, 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 go. It's goal. Kick coming into the back. Bang. Face first into that middle turnbuckle. He's grinding Gall's head along that top rope. Smashing him into the top turnbuckle. Over the other side. Bang. Moves out the way. Top rope Insguri there by its goal. Takes. Oof. Cut the James over. Wheelbarrow. Oh, that was nice. Goal against the ropes. Backbreaker. Did we have a chance to watch NXT? Said, well, I've seen fan. No, but no. I've seen some of the stuff that went down, but I've not had a chance to watch it. Just a couple of clips. I know Nikki has arrived, and I know that there was a title celebration, and Natalia issued a challenge, and bang. Goal down. Dude is getting drowned out on Evolve, says Jennifer. Oh, USA, 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 USA. Balogun gets a goal, and that's going to make things much easier, you know. Much, much easier, that goal. Goal for the USA, says Zingbot. Bishop said timestamp. I am at 31:13. 31:13. Against the ropes. It's goal. Goes down. Is everything okay with the goal? It's a goal. Got a spin. A swing. Goal gets thrown. Yeah, well, I can't remember what I said. I'm at 31:38. Oh, it's disallowed. Disallowed. Offside flag was up. Offside. I'm sure a lot of our American friends are like, what's offside? What does offside mean? That's American, by the way. That's how all of you sound. Saturday night's main event. Saturday, July 18th. Ooh, there is a bit of sunburn, Goal. Surely, Goal, you know how to protect yourself. The Beach Kevin, shout out to you, buds. If we want to talk goals, there's only one thing to say. Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane, Harry Kane. Harry Kane, Harry Kane. Yeah, amazing. That second one in particular was a beautiful goal. Chop block there by It's Goal. I think that gets him kind of back in and around the golden boot race, I believe. Ain't going to mean much if we go out to Mexico, though. Clothesline there by Goal. But I think that's five goals for him now at this World Cup. Bang! 1, 2. Shoulder up there by Cutler James. I tell you what, look at Goal's body. It really has messed himself up there, hasn't he? Goal trying to get Cutler James up. He's trying to get him up on the shoulders. Yeah, the Beach Kevin. Shout out to you, buds. Hope you enjoyed the game. Goal gets picked up over in the corner. Bah! This might be the beginning of the end because Goal gets slammed out. Look at that, just thrown. Fair play to Cutler James. Getting its goal up and then chucking him. Goal just goes flipping and crashing down. There we go. He gave a decent attempt of himself there, but wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. It's Jamie said, exactly. The shooter was past the ball after he was past the defenders. That's correct, Jennifer. Okay. Here's Holyfield. You had to cheat to beat me. 2 weeks ago, this was. Bang. I come from a family where if you don't fight, you don't eat. There we go. Jennifer said England had a heck of a match. Got a heck of a match on Saturday. It's going to be a cracker, innit, that? Absolute cracker. I mean, at this stage in the World Cup, you should expect every match to be a challenge. I mean, it's the World Cup. Anyone that's going to make it to the last 16 has obviously not only got through their group somehow, but then also won their knockout round game. So, I mean, all that's left is challenges. So, but this is a tricky one. Mexico, in Mexico. is tricky. It's definitely some other teams I'd rather be facing, to be honest. But let's go. Can't be down on it. It's the World Cup. If you're going to win it, you got to earn it. Okay, here's Timothy Thatcher. He's got Riggins and Cam Hendricks. Oh, yeah, the security guys. Is he going to talk to these two? Oi, you two. Not security anymore. Okay, so they're not security anymore. They're obviously going to be... I've made an error, says Timothy Thatcher. Okay. Looks like they're going to be making their presence felt. So here's the Mug Squad. Is this our main event? It probably is. Yeah, we've got 17 minutes left. I'm at 38:07. So I think we are getting to our main event. This is going to be an elimination match. 6-man tag. Okay, so in the USA game, coming up to the 40th minute. Still showing us being 0-0, but the graph is showing that USA are absolutely dominating this thing. Really dominating. Still, though, no shots on target for USA. The XG is still quite low, 0.25. So at the moment, even though nearly 70% possession for USA, 0-0 is probably fair. Need to create some shots on target. You haven't had a shot on target apart from the ball that was in the goal, but it was offside. Thought it was going to be tough. Thought Bosnia were going to be tough. They knocked out Italy. Okay, here's Marcus Mathers. Here is Sam Holloway. Cappuccino Jones as well. Robbie said, I was a soccer champion in 1990 when I was 5. Kicked the game winner. I was the kindergarten MVP. Let's go. Let's go. Peaking in kindergarten is pretty wild, to be honest. Carmen Petrovic is rooting for Bosnia. Okay. I thought I saw her rooting for someone else the other day, maybe Croatia or something. Perhaps she just roots for that kind of part of the world. Sort of like Eastern European. Vanta the Unknown versus TNA Rosemary, said Street Fighter Ingrid. Is that the match you'd like to see? I knew this was going to be a tough game for us, said Zingbot. USA have been all over him, said Jamie. Daze SummerSlam is shaping up to be a great PLE. Very much so. We were talking about that on Wrestle Feud, actually, our members stream that we did. Talking about what we were thinking of the card, what's going to main event. Lots of positivity for the cards. Okay, Santi, going to start us off with Marcus. Chris said, boo, no goal for the good guys. It was offsides. Thought it was just a hockey thing, says Chris. Jamie said, yeah, it is 5 goals for Harry Kane. That's great. That puts him right up there, doesn't it, with the those players that are in the running for the Golden Boot. I think, does it put him joint second, actually, behind Messi, who's got 6? Kick out there by Marcus. Marcus with Santi. Santi taking him over. Headlock takeover. Don't forget, this is eliminations, though. It's not just a case that we get a pin or something and we're done. Marcus, very interesting prospect. He's got a lot of indie wrestling experience. I don't know Santi's background. Nice reversal. Elbow. Marcus Mathers in control. I like Sam Holloway. I like his look. I think there's something you can really do with him. Bang. Kick coming in there by Marcus. 1. Just a 1. Just a 1. Carmen was born in Bosnia, grew up in Canada, and is of Croatian descent. Right. That explains it. I saw her in a Croatia shirt. So it explains it. Have you seen the guy that's doing the cup in Lego? He bought the brackets the whole way through the group stage and finals and updates it with country flags. It's taken up like 3 walls, said Jennifer. I think it's ringing a bell that I've seen someone with a Lego bracket, but I'm only fleeting. I think I saw a video where he was explaining if the first team takes on the third team, they've have got like a more difficult next round, and he was kind of showing it off. It had like numbers next to the team if they finished first or third and whatnot. I saw a little something briefly on YouTube on a short, but some of the stuff, man, is crazy. Did you see all the million Mexican fans that were out in the streets celebrating after their win over Ecuador? 1 million people in the street. It's just this long road that was just rammed full of people. It looked so crazy. Okay, CJ Valor is in. There's a lot of gold being wore here by the Mug Squads. Cappuccino is in as well on the other sides. Shot there by CJ. Kick to the midsection. Bang! Another shot there by CJ. Duck underneath. Against the ropes. Shoulder tackle there by CJ. Okay. CJ. Feeling it. Max Abrams very excited on the outsides. In the corner goes Cappuccino. Oh, that was quite nice. 1, 2, shoulder up. It's kind of like a belly to belly that was there. I mean, it was quite nice. Tag being made. Does the lady that comes out with Vanity Project wrestle? Megan, she hasn't wrestled yet. She might have done some house shows, and I think she has featured on LFG a few, like a bit in the early seasons, but so you might be able to watch some matches of her on that, but I've never sat down and watched LFG. But no, she's not wrestled on NXT. We've never seen her in Evolve. Kip up. Whoa, lovely work by Mathers. Yeah. He kind of kipped up and went straight into a bit of a cutter. Is that a goal? USA have scored, said Jamie. Is that one going to stand, yeah? Bang, moonsault to the outsides. That's big if so. That is really big. That's going to make life so much easier. That'll mean that Bosnia have got to obviously try and get an equalizer. That's going to mean that there's going to be more space. And that's going to give USA even more opportunities. Tag being made. Santi is in. Santi going against the ropes. Over the other side. Bang. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Oh yeah, I forgot his elimination. I was like, that's early, and then it was like, okay, yeah, no, it's elimination. 1 down, 2 to go. 1 down, 2 to go. Over the other side, leapfrog, big boot. Big boot coming in. Picks him up and... yeah, down he goes. Okay, nice. Chikari Ball is in. Sam Holloway down. 1. Mathers is the one that got eliminated, by the way. Holloway has got his ribs bandaged. Goes face first into the corner. Goes Holloway. Shoulder being driven into the midsection. Oh. Nice. So now we're going to do a little spot here where they jump. That's nice. Driving shoulders into the midsection. And then jumping over. Next person comes in, continues. Holloway against the ropes. Clothesline. Holloway. Trying to make over. Try and make that tag. Trying to get over to Cappuccino. Marcus Mathers, the only person that's been eliminated so far. Tag mates. Cappuccino in. Big boot. Duck underneath. They collide into each other. Big shot. Cappuccino, a real ball of energy against the ropes into... oh, lovely. Turning it into a cutter. He's going crazy right now, Cappuccino Jones. It's one of the best parts of the show right here. Really good hot tag. I'm glad that we changed the camera angle there because it felt like CJ Valor sort of didn't quite get that right. Yeah, Ball was in big trouble. Sam Holloway getting in. Referee trying to get Sam Holloway to go back out. Oh, this could be the beginning of the end for Cappuccino. That's going to leave Sam Holloway on his own. We could be in big trouble. Big trouble. Cappuccino. 1, 2, 3. And that's exactly what we've got. We've got the Mog Squads against Sam Holloway. It's going to be 3-on-1. We're going to commercial break. Cappuccino eliminated. Marcus Mathers eliminated. And we have gone to commercial break. AJ Styles' eldest just had his first match, said Jennifer. Very good. It's good to see that next generation coming through. It sounds like Kurt Angle's daughter's a wrestler as well, says Street Fighter Ingrid. People are happy at the fact USA have got that goal. Listen, I said I'm rooting for you guys. I want you to go through. I think, sharing in the excitement of the tournament as it continues to progress. Staying in as long as you can. Fantastic. And honestly, Belgium, I mean, it'll be tricky, but I also think that's winnable for the US. 1, 2. So yeah, it'd be, if you win, it's Belgium in the last 16. If you get through that, I don't know who it would be. That's where you're looking at a Portugal or a Spain, probably. Okay, Holloway then, in control. Timestamp, I am at 50-40. Sam Holloway could have had an elimination there, but a bit of distracting going on. Ball is in. Oh, lovely gut wrench. No joy. He's going for it. We ain't done, he says. He's looking for another one. Picks him up. No, no. He's going for another one. The only problem with these gut-wrench suplexes is that his shoulders are down as well when he's going for the cover. He's going for that cover now. 2. Holloway kicks out. Holloway kicks out. Okay, ball on the outsides. He's climbing up. Oh, gets caught there by Holloway. Looking for a choke slam. Gets it. That was huge. That was a big choke slam. Big choke slam there by Holloway. Holloway is down. It's a good showcase, this, for Holloway, actually. Him being that last guy that's in there, having to battle all 3 of these. Oh, look at that by Santi picking up Holloway with a sit-out slam, who Holloway manages to get his shoulder up. Manages to get his shoulder up. Tag being made. Okay, gets caught. Holloway catches Santi. It's got CJ Valor, picks him up. Oh, double choke slam. Double choke slam by the big man. Oh my God. That shot to Max Abrams was brutal by Holloway. Absolutely brutal. Big man, big air. Honestly, you can't help but get shades of The Undertaker. Seeing a guy of his size, like, launching himself over the top like that. I've long been an admirer of Holloway, and I continue to be impressed. Yeah. Sam Holloway, I really like. I really feel like he needs a gimmick, though. Holloway coming over. He's got CJ Valor now. The rest of Mug Squad coming in. All 3 of them. Ah, that didn't look great from CJ, but that'll probably finish it. And it does. So we got some glimpses from Holloway, but the numbers game was just too much. Oh, wow. I just read 4 have died in a Mexico City World Cup celebration. Wow. And the scenes were absolutely crazy. Looks like it just got a little out of control. Okay. On the UK front, use a VPN. US Tubi or next day on YouTube. Yeah. I go VPN Tubi, as everyone knows. I didn't used to. I used to be able to just watch it on YouTube, but... Well, I quite enjoyed that main event match, to be honest with you. Let's get a poll, shall we? We don't normally do a poll, but we'll see what people thought about that. Okay, Mug Squad, standing tall as the show comes to an end. So there we go. That was this week's Evolve. Pretty standard episode, but I will say a pretty stacked episode. It felt pretty stacked in the sense of we had like 4 matches. We had Kale Dixon saying a few words. No sign of the unknown. We got that last week. We got her last week. We didn't get any follow-up this week. A little bit of a disappointment, but I like Layla Diggs. I like its goal. The no DQ match had its moments. Main event had lots of action to it. Lots of big moves. Sam Holloway looking really good at the end. It's just easy to watch, isn't it? That's Evolve. Just very easy to watch. I wouldn't say it's essential. Certainly not this week. but still a very easy watch. A Big Time said the recent batch of call-ups with Fatal Influence, Soul, Jordan Grace, Joe, Ricky. I've not seen any Enchants WWE TV sort of slotted as bodies on the card. Is it wait in progress? Yeah, I mean, I would say Fatal Influence have impressed, and there were rumours of JC going on to face Rhea at SummerSlam. There's been chatter about that. As well as that, we've seen Laney and Fallon get, in there with the tag champs. So, there's been a little summit there. JC has looked good since coming in, and obviously she featured in Queen of the Ring. I was surprised, I must admit, that she didn't win that. Certainly the first rounds. I didn't think she'd win it all, but I thought they might want to, at least have a get out of round one. But I feel like the truth with Fatal Influence is the Rhea injury is really a problem, because I think it's obvious now that EO Liv was the plan from the very beginning. I don't think they've changed any plans. I think Liv and EO and the Queen of the Ring has pretty much gone the way it was always going to go. So I think JC might be a victim of Rhea's injury. So not worried about Fatal Influence. I think they've done really well. Word is that they've impressed. Soul has obviously got to the title. So, I mean, I don't think, if anything, I'd say she's been pushed too quickly, getting to that championship so quickly. Jordan, tricky for her, to be honest. She was obviously kind of feuding with Jade when Jade was champion. I don't know where we are with her sort of creative, but I feel like the women's division has not been brilliant on SmackDown. I think SmackDown in general has obviously been struggling from a booking point of view. So I don't think there's an issue there. I just think that we keep saying it. It feels like we need a refresh, need to move some people around. We need to get more balance to the divisions. I can't say that the Rhea injury has resulted in Jordan not missing out on something. I don't know, but I can say that I don't think she's joined a healthy, vibrant division. So she might just be a victim of, I'm going to say, the chaos. So yeah, that one, I agree. It's disappointing how she's been used. Ethan, I think, has been used well. I think don't confuse losses with like bad creative or anything. Ethan is a heel who can take losses. He lost to Rey Mysterio, and I have no problem with that whatsoever, because Ethan is that sort of heel that's going to take shortcuts, make things work to his advantage, cut every corner in the book. And, Ethan will easily find himself getting a title match in the future. And even if it's not deserved, it doesn't matter. He's a heel. He will take every shortcut that he can. I think a loss like that is worse if you're a babyface. If you're a heel like Ethan, I think it's just important to keep getting heat, keep getting TV time, keep being used. And he's used on a very regular basis. So I think that he does just slot into the card. At the moment, they're not pulling any sort of trigger with him. But yeah, him losing to Rey on Monday was no concern for me. I think that him being used as frequently as what he has, he's obviously been involved with Rusev and all of that Penta stuff. So, I mean, he's been used. I mean, one thing if you're Jordan and you're sat in catering, of all the ones I've read there, Jordan is the biggest concern. Ethan is, absolutely fine. Joe Hendry is fine. He's been doing his songs. He just had a few weeks where he wasn't being used, where he was selling an injury. I don't know if that was just to sell an attack, to sell an injury. I think it was a beatdown by the Vision. So I don't know if it was just to sell that or if there was some stuff that was going on. But obviously he was back again on Monday doing his song. I mean, look, that segment with Joe, it's going to divide opinion, because I think Joe's gimmick divides opinion. Most people are into it, and so I'm guessing the reaction to that segment was fine. I am not a fan, and so I just didn't really care for that segment. But there's going to be plenty of people out there that enjoyed that segment. Him doing his songs and whatever. Fire Logan Paul. So, I mean, all of these are fine, to be honest. No one, you shouldn't really ever expect someone to come up from NXT and be given a world title. I mean, I know like we moved quite quickly with Stephanie, and it looks like we're going to move very quick with Oba. But I mean, it's so out of the norm that most people are going to come up and just, feature on the cards. I would say judge them by the amount of TV time they get. Judge them by how often they're being used. Judge them by, what kind of stories are they in as well. So Ethan has been really involved in a lot of stuff, a lot of TV time. I think he's absolutely fine. JC and Fatal Influence are pretty much on TV every week. Sometimes it is just a backstage video, but they're being used. They're not just sat in catering. And I do think the Rhea thing is hurting there, as I said. So no issues really with a lot of it. Ricky has just featured at a PLE. I mean, I think it's perspective, isn't it? It's perspective. Some people just expect these NXT talents to come up and be given everything, be given title matches and all this. But I mean, I think you just build them. You just use them, have them on TV, put them in some feuds, give them time to do promos and all that stuff. So, no, I think it's the second one. It's a process. Making a meaningful difference in lifting the weekly TV show. Well, I don't think they ever are because they don't have any star power. They're not going to be able to make a meaningful difference because they're NXT developmental talent. So, Oba is special because he's got that aura. But, a new women's group might add a little intrigue, but it ain't going to drastically change ratings or anything along those lines. Plus, the other problem you've got is that you might be able to use these people in some fun segments, but we know there's a massive problem with match quality. So you can have them in some interesting backstage segments. You can even put JC in a match with someone. But as we've been seeing, and I can't quite explain why, I think it's a real mixture of different things, the match quality has been really underwhelming. And that is a real problem. And, this new talent that's come up is seemingly a victim of that as well. I don't know if it's the producers. I don't know if it is a little bit of kind of ring rust or something. I don't think it is. I do worry about the producers, to be honest. I do worry about those that are producing the matches and the expectations not being high enough. I do worry about the feedback. Because I think you could take some of this talent, put it in NXT, like JC, and, put her in a main event and give it time. And I think she'd give you a really good match. But if you give her a match, an okay amount of time in the middle of a SmackDown, it doesn't seem to be hitting the same sort of level, which makes me worry a little bit because it's the same person, but it's a slightly different result. So there's something that I think is fundamentally wrong with SmackDown in particular. And I do worry if it's producers. And I do worry if some of that SmackDown talent is really not up to speeds. If JC has a match with... it could be that, couldn't it? If JC has a match on NXT, there's a chance she's been working on it for a few days before. And there's a chance she might even have been facing the person on some live events because they do a lot of NXT live events. So she's probably got an understanding. They've worked it out. Thing with Raw is I think largely you turn up on the day. You might have got a heads up as to what you're doing, but largely I think you turn up on the day and you rehearse, and you've got to put it together quite quickly. I think they get more time in NXT to sort of put things together, and maybe the limitations of the wrestlers right now mean that putting stuff together quickly is not bringing out good results. So I don't know. I really think there's something fundamental wrong. There's a system that's wrong. There's something that is not bringing out the best of the wrestlers when the bell rings. So that's the concern. Dave, Stephanie can still cost live her title at SummerSlam, and their feud doesn't need the title. Thoughts? Yeah, absolutely. She could cost her a title. I think that it would be... I can't remember how Stephanie got written out, though. Was it just that she was banged up from the match, or did she get attacked? Because if she does come back to cost Liv, I would just need a refresh as to... I can't remember exactly what it was. I remember how we built up to that WrestleMania match, but I can't remember if there was anything that happened after. If it was that Judgment Day attacked Stephanie and now she wants revenge, then, okay, yeah, makes sense. You know, you put her on the shelf for months and months, and now she wants revenge. But if she was just banged up following the match, then might need a reason as to why she's doing it. So, yep, she could get involved. I would just need that refresh as to what the situation is, what the relationship is. Street Fight, Ingrid said Kurt Angle was talking about his daughter against Kendall. Let's go. Word Life Cine Fan said, I believe Judgment Day attacked her. Well, if that's the case, then, yeah, makes sense to have her come back and kind of cost Liv that title. And because it's all built on that something personal, you know, a beatdown that she'll want revenge for, then, yeah, you don't necessarily need the belt involved. Brian, shout out to you, buds. Appreciate it. It's going to be a bloodbath for SmackDown talent fighting for TV time now that the second half of SmackDown just goes to 2 hours. Shorter matches and cram segments. Yeah, I mean, but hopefully... I mean, look, my priority, if I work for WWE, is very, very simple. I want the best show possible. And that does not mean that I'm going to cram loads of segments in. I'm going to still do, you know, the segments that I want to do and give them the time I want to give them. This is going to result in people not getting as much TV time. And I think the fans need to get their heads around that. You cannot remove an hour of TV time and expect that everyone is still going to get the same amount of TV time. It doesn't work, does it? It just doesn't work. I mean, even if you did cram everything, everyone's segments are going to be drastically shorter. If you wanted to get the same content into the show, but just in 2 hours rather than 3, every match and every segment is going to be reduced. So, is that the right thing to do? I would say no. I would say it's all going to feel very crammed. Nothing's going to have time to really marinate. Nothing's going to have time to land. It's just going to be, you know, a blur. So that's going to basically mean taking some stuff out so that things can breathe where they need to breathe. You know, sometimes matches need to sort of, you know, take a moment to get to that second, third gear. Rather than every match just being go, 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 you know? So for me, my focus, if I worked there, would be I'm going to put on the best show possible. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put on the best show possible. And I'll use whoever I use and I won't use whoever I won't use. And that's it. I mean, that is it. You have to have that focus. You have to be, like, disciplined. This is not... we don't owe these people anything. They get paid really well to be under contract, and the agreement is that we are going to use them whenever we want, however we want during that time period. So there's no guarantee of TV time. I mean, I don't know, actually. I don't know if Roman's got anything in his contract that guarantees whatever, but, you know, if certain people have to sit out for a month or two, so be it. Like, you cannot take a third hour away and still expect everything to remain the same. So, yeah, it is going to get harder. So that's why just getting TV time is going to be a dub, you know? If Ethan can continue to get TV time, if Fatal Influence can still be continued to be showcased on a regular basis, that's good. That's good. Hopefully, it's also in a compelling story and we're having compelling matches. But we know that that's been a struggle, certainly for SmackDown, for a long time now. Calvin said, have you seen Austin Theory's impulsive interview? What did we think about how John Cena wanted him to turn face? I have not seen it, but no. What would I think about Theory turning face? I don't hate it because I think he is a natural face. I think he's a better face than a heel. I think Theory is a goofy guy. I think he's like a fun. I could see him doing something similar to the confused R-Truth thing, because he was sort of doing that when he was in the way in NXT. So for me, like, he's a lovable, you know, not the sharpest pencil in the pencil case kind of a guy. And I think that's the presentation I'd go for. This is why when he joined the Vision, I was like, yeah, this makes sense, because have the Vision making him do stuff he doesn't want to do. He's lost. He's lonely. He just wants to fit in somewhere. Have the Vision make him do some stuff he doesn't want to do. And then, you know, you get the crowd like trying to get him to rebel. And, you know, then you've got something interesting. So I think him turning face makes a lot of sense. How you do it, I think, is quite important. And what he looks like when he's a face, I think, is quite important. Because there's different kinds of baby face, of course. So, you know, I think that sort of like conflicted, I really don't want to be doing this, I'm actually a really good person, but I'm in a bad situation, and the fans can see it and they get behind him and all that kind of stuff. I think for me, that's why him joining the Vision was not bad. I thought that was going to bear fruit. I thought that was going to be something that could be positive, but the injuries and everything just got in the way, didn't they? So, but to be honest, I didn't even really sense like they were trying to go down that road. I really don't know what their plan for Theory in the Vision was going to be, because there wasn't really giving me those vibes that that's what we were doing or that's what we were trying to do. I do sometimes think if NXT is following the if main roster is following the NXT product, see the storylines and characters, we don't sometimes see these vibrant talents get called up and they have wishy-washy characters. Well, it's a completely different thing. I mean, I don't think they do need to necessarily be paying too much attention, because NXT is just a completely different league to the main roster. The main roster is completely different. You're traveling around the world. You know, you're going in like all these different arenas in front of all these different crowds. And, you know, you've got a talent that you're going to be aware of what they've done in NXT. And, you know, you're going to be aware of their presentation, their entrance. You're going to have a full report about these people. You're not just going to call them up blind without having seen what they've been doing. But I'm not too worried if they followed every second of what they've been doing, because honestly, it's like plucking someone from the minor leagues and taking them to the MLB. It's like taking someone from lower leagues football and having them play for Man United. Like, the game is the same, if you will, but the expectations are so different that it's just, it doesn't really matter. You completely start again. So yes, there are definitely things that you can take, but I really strongly push back on that. It's like a continuation. I just don't see it that way. I think NXT is teaching you skills and getting you ready for whatever the main roster needs. Whatever you do down in NXT, you do. But by the time you go to the main roster, this is the dance. This is the dance. You go to the main roster and, you know, it's such a big machine where you're traveling around the world, you're doing meet and greets, you've got press, you know, you've got big PLEs, Saturday night's main event, you go into Saudi Arabia, you're doing a European tour. I mean, it is so drastically different from being an NXT wrestler. NXT is just about getting you ready for the main roster. So they will use you how they feel best. And, you know, they'll have a report. They will have spoke to Sean. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? I'm sure they will have watched a bit of footage. But if they followed every second of what they've done in NXT, it doesn't matter. I think it's a wildly different promotion. Wildly different. That NXT is just about getting you ready for when you go to the main roster and basically where you start again. NXT, what it can do, though, is give you the presentation, give you the experience, give you the knowledge of, you know, having wrestled against, like, on TV for WWE and everything. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard. A main roster is hard because if you go, Fatal Influence is getting loads of TV time, but Jordan Grace isn't. Yeah, that's right. Because you can't feature everyone. So, of course, someone's going to be sitting in catering. I mean, we've said you have to have a roster bigger than the show. You can't feature everyone. So there's always going to be people that are injured and people that are just not in creative plans. It's about how often do you rotate them back in? When can you bring them back in? When should you bring them back in? Everyone's going to have different opinions on that. But I think if you are going to that sort of level of watching the shows and, like, you know, thinking about why aren't we bringing this person back? It's been a month or something. You probably end up driving yourself insane because you won't know as to what plans are in place, what's been cancelled. Are they dealing with a family issue? You know, is there a visa issue? Who knows? Has there been a falling out backstage? There could be like loads of different reasons as to why, you know, we're not working with someone. Like, where's Grayson Waller right now? I don't know. But that doesn't mean there's not something going on. He could have he could have an injury, he could have a knock, he could have personal issues. It might be that they were going to do something, but, you know, it might be that they were building towards, you know, him starting a rival group with the Vision. But now the Vision has seemingly started to fall apart. That completely changes Grayson Waller's plans. So I think you'll drive yourself insane if you do that. I think, you know, the important thing is the shows we get, are they goods? And judge the shows we actually get. And then, of course, if your favourite is out and you haven't seen him in a while, I get that. But, yeah, you're always going to have people on the sidelines. Always. Chris said, I'm not sure if Stephanie got beat down or anything. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure if I've seen her since WrestleMania. Why would Liv attack her? She just won the title, but I could be wrong. I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. I don't know what went down. Obviously, the match at WrestleMania, but I cannot recall if we saw Stephanie after. If we didn't, I don't know necessarily why Stephanie would go after Liv. There would need to be a reason. And if it's just you beat me for my title, that's quite a heelish thing for Stephanie to do. And I don't think we would do that. You know, if you lose your belt at WrestleMania, well, you've lost your belt. I can't even remember if she got screwed at WrestleMania or anything. I mean, if she attacked Liv, there would have to be a reason. So, and I'm holding my hands up saying with everything that's gone on in the world, I cannot recall as to how that kind of situation ended. So, so I would need a refresh as to, right, where are we with this story? So, yeah, I mean, look, Stephanie could come back and attack her, but I'd need to know why it's happened if it goes that way. Shiny Wizard said, do we think that the old thing about having creative control over your match results still exists? For certain wrestlers, but I don't think it's like complete control. I don't think it's like they get the final say. I think that like someone like Roman, for example, would be very influential. If Roman was to say to Triple H he really didn't want to lose the match, I mean, that is going to be taken into consideration because he's such a big star that it's going to be a big problem if he throws his toys out the pram, you know? So I don't think there's anything... I'm not aware of any wrestlers, or I've never seen it reported that any wrestlers have the ability to go, no, I'm not doing it, and contractually they're allowed to do that. But I do think if you're a big star like Cody or Roman or CM Punk, you know, you're going to have influence. I mean, Triple H is going to listen to you, and, you know, your comments are going to be heard. Doesn't mean that it's going to go your way, but I think certainly you'd be able to sit down with him and point out why you think it's wrong or where the frustration is and give Triple H something to consider. But no, I think it's widely accepted that was a big part of WCW's downfall, was they gave the wrestlers too much control, too much say, and it resulted in chaos at times. So WWE, I think, have largely, always stayed away from that. But your bigger stars are always going to have influence. Big Time said, Daze, Jordan getting feds and taken so many losses to JC Blake Killarney. When you get called up, do you need to dig yourself out of a hole? No. Only makes transition harder? No. You start again. And I cannot stress that enough. If anything that happens in NXT is largely irrelevant. NXT is there to get you ready for the main roster. When you go to the main roster, you are now going to be performing in front of a lot of people that do not watch NXT. I don't know what the NXT number globally is, but I know that it ain't going to be matching the sort of attention Raw and SmackDown get. So, you know, if you look at like views, video views, clip views for NXT, compare them to Raw, compare them to SmackDown. We know numbers for Raw globally are, you know, around that 2.5 million range. NXT is around, 600,000? Globally, what would that go to? 1 million, maybe? You know, there's a big difference between the promotions. So, no, I don't think you're in a big hole. I think, actually, when you come up, it's a refresh. It's a new beginning. It is, you can have Michael Cole, you can have vignettes. Look at Blake Monroe doing weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, months of vignettes. You know, she's finally here now. I think anything she did in NXT is irrelevant. I think the same with Jordan as well. Anything she did in NXT is irrelevant. I don't think you're in a hole. Don't think you're trying to get out of a hole. I just think that you are basically starting again, and the task is to get over with the crowds. And when you first come in, that's hard because you've got to make a first impression, and then it's going to settle down because, you know, when you come out, certain people will pop because they've seen you. Other people will be interested because they've not seen you. After a few weeks, you just feel part of the furniture. So you'll get a first reaction, then it will settle down. And then, you know, as time goes by, people are making their minds up about you. But no, I mean, I really do think you start again. You know, I hated that feud between Zarya and Sol. But when Sol went to the main roster, I was like, okay, this is the clean start that she needs. Let's see what they do. I must admit, I was very underwhelmed with what they did. I was not massively impressed with the booking of her when she went up. So, but you know, the nonsense she'd been doing in NXT was not like a hole, if you will. I just wanted her to, you know, clean slate, let's get going. And sadly, I didn't like Sol's booking on the main roster. I didn't mind her losing to Io, but her then getting that title opportunity so quickly against Becky, and then her beating Becky, and that being her first proper win. I mean, her only win was like a DQ thing when she had faced Becky, which then got her the title match, and then she wins the title match. And now she's Intercontinental Champion. I found that quite frustrating. She doesn't feel like, you know, when you've got Jordan Grace that's been there for a while, and you've got all these other girls that have been there for a while, Sol Ruka getting to a belt that quickly just felt a bit frustrating to me. Because, as I said, she hadn't won a match until she got to that DQ win. And that DQ win got her a title match. And then she wins the title match. And so now she's Intercontinental Champion, but not with a long list of victories behind her. She doesn't feel like the strongest champion. And in fact, I think she knows that. I think people are looking at her with doubts. And obviously it's not helped as well that she's kind of botched some of her moves. So, you know, there is a bit of a narrative out there that she's not, you know, quite the cleanest, not quite got it. I don't know, man. You start again in my mind. Not everyone might agree with that, though. Hello, William. William said, I'm sure Evolve isn't evolving into anything special, but I think Kendall was a fluke. I don't see anyone achieving what she did. Yeah, I think we had some great talent like Callie, Kendall, those two in particular. I think Elijah Holyfield is very interesting. I personally like Sam Holloway, but you know, no, I wouldn't say it's anything special per se. I can see some attributes that I like. It depends how he proceeds. But yeah, I'm certainly not looking at him as being like the next Ober or anything. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I think that there is there's a few people that you're keeping an eye on, but it's hard to see there's no one that I can really think of that's stepping out there and delivering great matches on a consistent basis. I'm sort of interested in Elijah Holyfield. I'm interested in Brooks Jensen. I'm interested in that Romeo. I think he's good. He's in that team with Noam Dar. So I like him. I always enjoy its goal. It's just a fun character. I mean, nothing mind-blowing, but I agree. Kendall was very, very special. I don't think we've got anyone quite hitting those heights at the moment. Okay. Benito, shout out to you. My thoughts are with you. Let's look to the future. At least you've got your right-hand man, William, and the community by your side. Benito, thank you, buds. Yeah, we kind of touched on the loss, the passing of my pet, Kia, and how hard that was yesterday. So I appreciate all the kind words. I think it's probably easier to try and focus on other things and focus on Evolve and focus on other bits. So I'm pleased we did this stream. I felt okay, like, coming into it. But, yeah, I couldn't have streamed yesterday. No way. I was not in a good place. But I feel a bit better today. The shock has kind of wore off. It's still difficult looking at a bowl and looking at her toys. And, you know, you go outside, there's still, like, fur. Because she was a big dog. She was a big German Shepherd. And obviously it's summer now. So, I mean, her kind of coat was coming off. And so, you know, she was getting rid of some of her fur. And so, you know, you've got fur kind of on the grass. And like you see a water bowl that's still got water in it that she hasn't drunk. And, you know, stuff like that. And you're like, oh, my God, this is brutal. This is brutal. This is so difficult. So, yeah, it's going to be really, it's just weird stuff, man. I mean, like, I feel like I need to finish the stream now so I can go and let her in or get her in. Because normally I'd be streaming now, she'd be outside. So I'd normally end these streams. And if it's Raw or SmackDown, I'd probably just go straight into a breakdown. But as soon as the breakdown's done, I'll go upstairs to check, see where she is. If she's just lying on the grass or something. Or is she up having a drink? Does she want to come in? What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, it is just so strange. So strange not having any of that now. The absence is huge. Absolutely huge. So, yeah, awful. Miss Dal Jr. said, do you hate Sol Ruka due to the wrestling and the promos, or do you hate her because of the community and trying to criticize her when she's a solid performer? I'm not being rude, but I just wanted to know. I don't hate her, first of all, but my struggles with her have got nothing to do with the community. I read people's opinions, but I'm never swayed by people's opinions because I've been watching wrestling a long time, so I make my own mind up. But it was actually her feud with Zarya in NXT that I was just not really enjoying because it didn't feel like we had the dynamic right. Like, it felt at times like Sol was not actually being a very good friend to Zarya in story. And I kind of felt sympathy to Zarya. It kind of felt like Zarya was tagging along, you know. She was just kind of living in Sol's shadow, surviving in Sol's shadow. You know, Sol had both of the belts. Zarya didn't have any. They did that story where Zarya was happy to, you know, defend Sol's belt for her when she couldn't. And of course, Zarya would end up losing that belt. And you could see that Sol was really gutted about it, but it was like, I don't know, man. There was just times where Sol just didn't feel like this great friend. And so, actually, I think a lot of people that watched NXT felt that way because there were Zarya chants during, like, you know, some of their matches where there was a chunk of the crowd that were with Zarya. There was Sol chants as well. I mean, it really comes down to how you interpreted different situations. Like, was you on Zarya's side? Was you on Sol's side? But I don't think they got it right where you just felt sorry for Sol and Zarya as being the unreasonable friend. I think they got the dynamics wrong on the feud. And I just found myself really siding with Zarya. So, as soon as so I hated it, and I hated how long that whole story played out for, right? So Soul just did not come out of that looking good to me. So I've been critical of that for quite a while, critical of the story, critical of her character. It's not really about her and, you know, her skills. I just think the booking and everything was just bad. It's the kind of connection with Soul, you know, that kind of rooting for her to win, like, oh, she's really good, I hope she gets the victory, blah, blah, blah. That all went away. Just went away. I just thought she was coming across like a bit of a douche in that story. So it was nothing to do with the community. I was just watching that story unfold, which took flipping ages. The longest it was, or the longer it was dragging on, the, you know, worse it was getting as well for me. I just wanted it done. I wasn't enjoying it. I wanted it finished. So actually, when she goes up, I distinctly remember saying, "Good, let's start again. Let's start again. Let's you know, get going here." And she started to lose a couple of matches, and I was like, "Yeah, this is good actually." Because she shouldn't come up and beat Io. If you're going to put her in a match with Io, why would Soul just get into a match with Io and win? Io is the mountaintop. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone coming into boxing and going straight after Usyk or something like this, you know? I mean, like, you just wouldn't expect that person to win. So I was fine with her, like, losing those matches. And it kind of felt like, yeah, this is good. That sympathy of, like, you know, rooting for her, I was starting to feel it, actually. It was starting to come back. So that was fine. And I saw people going, why are they burying Soul and all this? You know, I mean, nonsense. You're not burying Soul by having her lose to Io Sky. The fact she's even in there being competitive looks great. And, you know, then you continue to put her in feuds, give her opportunities, just fall short, people get behind her, blah, 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 blah. All of that was good. And then, you know, we went into that nonsense Becky Lynch thing where, you know, she is having a word with Becky backstage, and then she's like, actually, let's do this in the ring. Goes to the ring, calls out Becky. She challenges Becky for the title. Do you remember? It was really confusing. Is it for the belt? Isn't it for the belt? We didn't know. So they even botched that where, I think, was it Saturday night's main event? We didn't know if the belt was on the line or not. And I was like, she hasn't earned a title shot. Like, she hasn't won a match. So you can't just go into the ring and calling out the champion doesn't mean that you get a title shot. And we were still confused as to whether it was or wasn't. I think at one point they showed a graphic that said it was. So it turns out it wasn't. And then what happens is at the event, Becky pulls the ref in the way. And it's a bit confusing as to what the result is. I think commentary sort of announced and let us know that it was a DQ and Soul had won. So that then sets up a rematch, only this time it is for the title because of that DQ. And then Soul gets it. So in NXT, she's in a feud that goes on for quite a long time that I wasn't enjoying. Then, you know, and I didn't think that it made her look good. Then she goes to the main roster. We sort of refresh. We're doing some stuff that I'm like, this is good. This feels better. And then we do this story where, I mean, like, I don't know, a month or so after she comes up, she's now the Intercontinental Champion. It does smack of, we like this girl, we want to push this girl, we're going to go for it type thing. But, I mean, there's just no build. It's just impatient. It's just throwing a belt on her and hoping she connects after. That's what it is. It's let's put the belt on her and then let's hope that she connects after. Let's hope that her matches are going to deliver and that people are going to care and she's going to connect. And listen, she's a great talent. So, I mean, there's every chance now that she's got the belt that she can have some good matches, regular good matches. But this has come very easy for her. I don't know what I'm meant to be rooting for. I don't know what I'm meant to be cheering for. There's a girl here that's, you know, very easily got to a championship. It all seems to be very easy. So at the moment, I don't really feel like she needs my support because she's just achieving stuff anyway. And it seems like WWE really rate her. And it seems like she's always just going to be around opportunity. It's all so easy. So I don't know, man. There's just stuff that's really just not worked for me. So it's absolutely nothing to do with the community. I think in ring, I think you're right in saying that, you know, she's quite innovative. She's got some good moves, but the thing is that there's also been some nerves that's meant she's botched a fair few of those moves. So, you know, I feel like what we needed was a period where we just let her get settled, let her find her feet. I think we've gone too fast for her as well. So, again, it's creative, isn't it? It's largely creative. It's not really so. I don't even care about the botches. I'm not someone that's like, oh, she's botched, she's terrible. I think if there is a botch, it's probably because of nerves. It's probably because she's still trying to, you know, get her head around performing in front of 10,000 people rather than 200-300. Again, NXT, main roster, big difference, huge difference. So I think that it's understandable that she would not be landing everything. But, yeah, those are the frustrations to me. It's not hatred. I don't feel that warmth towards her. They've done nothing to make me feel warmth towards her. So I'm hoping that now she's got the belt, she can just put on some banger matches. I want her to come across as cool, you know. I want her to come across as being really friendly to the girls backstage. You know, how you doing? You know, but some words of encouragement. Just be cool. And then go in the ring, have some great matches, get your wins, hit your moves, get your momentum. Fast forward like a few months, we could be in a good spot again. I mean, you know, all these grumbles are because of what we've done, but you know, we could end up in a decent place. Chris said the problem with Soul now that she won the title, we don't see her. I like her, but it doesn't make any sense to me, says Chris. Pat said, I worked at a supermarket. Occasionally the Boar's Head or beer guys would hook you up, but usually just a case. I'd hook them up with an overweight sub from the deli, I managed, said Pat. Oh, that's a fun story. That's fun. Abram said, Daze, Oba interfering in Sammy Brock. Sammy retains or main events. I don't know that Brock's going after Sammy. I really don't know. I mean, I've not seen any spoilers for SmackDown if it's come out of that or anything. I genuinely don't know. So I try to stay away from any spoilers. So I can't really comment because Friday might already have revealed where we're going with Sammy. But as I said, I've stayed away from those. Word Life Cena fan said, Daze, how is Soul's opportunity that she's had her fault? It was John Cena handpicking her for his final Saturday night's main event. That's fine. I've not mentioned that as a bad thing. WWE picked her for the Rumble. That's fine. I've not mentioned that for a bad thing. None of those things are bad. I didn't mention either of those. John Cena picking Soul for his thing, fine. Her being in the Rumble, fine. I mean, she's very agile. She's got great agility. She's got a very eye-catching moveset. So you could imagine her catching the eye on John Cena's Saturday night's main event in December. You could imagine her doing some fun stuff, walking on her hands, whatever, trying to evade elimination in a Rumble, being the NXT representative. None of that bothered me or was an issue. It was her feud with Zarya, which I was not enjoying. And then it was the way that they got her to the title and how quickly she got to the title. So it's the Zarya feud, and it's from I wouldn't even say the moment she got called up, because she did lose a couple of matches, most notably a match against Io, which I had no problem with. And actually, if this conversation was happening in that moment, say the loss to Io was on Monday, and anyone had said, how are we feeling about Soul? This would be a different conversation. I'd be like, well, she's on the main roster now. I know she fell short against Io, but everyone falls short against Io. No problem with that. Io is the measuring stick. She looked good. She's got to hit those soul snatchers, though, because there was a bit of criticism about the fact she wasn't getting those. But as I said, I dismissed that as nerves. So that was all fine. But then as soon as we kind of move into, the whole her going after the Intercontinental Championship thing, that's when I was like, no, this isn't what I'm looking for. This is another example of where we're getting a talent that's only just arrived very, very quickly to a championship. So, I mean, we did it with Julia. I was critical of that. We did it with Stephanie, although Stephanie took a little bit longer to get to her title. But in all fairness, hers was the top title. She got to the top women's title, and I think we still had a little grumble about that. I just like to see people kind of find their feet and kind of, you know, face a few obstacles and sort of, I like to see them grow and, you know, try and compete for a title. Like, I always see winning a title as a big accomplishment. If you just get it super quickly, and it doesn't feel like you've gone through many setbacks, then it doesn't really feel like that big of an accomplishment. Just feels very easy. So, yeah, those were my grumbles. It had nothing to do with the Rumble, nothing to do with the Cena show. Sol Ruka's awesome, but the booking has been a little off, says Don. The best story I've got from that place was the night I went to toss the trash, and I was 3 foot from a big black bear in a dumpster, and I hit him with the trash bag. Well, I'm sure the bear didn't mind. There might be some stuff in there the bear was interested in, actually. So I'm sure the bear was okay with it. Big Time said, I genuinely don't know why we're outwardly refusing to do a draft. It's funny, tournament matches for Raw and SmackDown were all over the place, but it did make for some exciting matches. I don't know either, to be honest. I mean, I feel like you should be able to fit one in, and certainly in July, but I wonder if they don't want to do it because we're now just locked in for SummerSlam. But, I mean, in July, it feels like we don't have a big show, so, you know, you've got a whole month here where you can do something, but I think they would rather use the TV time to get ready for SummerSlam, which is totally understandable. But I suppose the question has to then be, well, when are you doing one? They've got to find a place, a week in the year where they can do a draft. They've got to carve out a spot. And they couldn't find it last year, and so far, seemingly, they haven't found it this year. So, yeah, I must admit, even I'm confused about all of that. When are they going to do a draft? Because it does feel like it would be beneficial. It does feel like it would help. I mean, they've just been trying to move people here and there, haven't they? Just trying to squeeze them in. Like, you know, Gunther moving over, Jacob moving over, blah, blah, blah. Rhea moving over when she won the championship. So, you know, they've been trying to switch people on the fly. Just says that we needed a draft, really. We could have done it all in one go in a draft. But, yeah. Right. Did you see Thea and Wendy are on the TNA chat? Yeah, I mentioned earlier. It's mentioned earlier. Everything is stale. The women's division is stagnant. Tag division, mid-cards, main event, everything feels repetitive. I think things aren't as bad as that, actually. I'm kind of enjoying, like, Roman, Seth. I'm down for that. Ober, Brock, I'm down for that. I think Hell in a Cell, let's go. Street Profits got those tag titles. There's not much of a division there, but War Raiders have kind of back on the scene. I'll be interested to see, now the Street Profits have got the belts, what WWE do in regards to that division, because I don't know, man. There feels like there's a little flame there, a little spark with those belts going on to the Street Profits. It's just, again, who are you going to have them defend against? But if they can line up some interesting looking teams, you know, maybe we could get some at there. But you know what the tag division's like. That's always been hit and miss. So, I mean, look, this time last year, I think the belt was on Stephanie, and she was kind of new, and she'd got to the belt quick. I don't think people had a strong connection with her, right? Those that watched NXT did, but the average fan, the casual fan, probably didn't know much about Stephanie. So this time last year, Stephanie had the belt. This time it's Liv. I think that's better, right? People have got opinions on Liv. They know Liv. She's been around years. By this point, she's been on the main roster like 7-8 years already. So I think Liv having the belt is good. I think Roman's got the belt. You know, this time last year it was Seth. I mean, it was the Vision. This year it's Roman, and it's the Bloodline. I don't know who Seth was building towards having a match with. Probably CM Punk, which fine. Yeah, that would be the SummerSlam match before he picked up the injury. But this year, it's going to be Roman Seth, which is great. I'm definitely down for that. So if we compare where we were last year to where we are this year, I mean, for me, it's an improvement. To me, it's better. I'd much rather Roman be champ, Liv be champ. We have a bloodline story than last year when it was Seth as champ. We were trying to get over the Vision. We had Stephanie as champ, and we were trying to get her. There was a lot of trying to get things over last year. Last year, it was like, let's get Stephanie over, let's get Jade over, let's get the Vision over. There's a lot of trying to get people over last year. This year, I feel like we've sort of learned that didn't work. Not only did it not work, not only did we not succeed, Jade is not over. People still don't really care. The Vision fell apart, right? Stephanie got injured. So we spent a lot of TV time trying to get those people over. It hasn't worked. So I cannot blame them for just going with, let's just use the talent we've got. Do you know what I mean? Liv's still young, actually. So let's just put the belt on Liv. Roman's still the biggest star we've got. Let's put the belt on him. We have not been able to replace the bloodline. So let's just go back to that to give ourselves a good summer and some breathing room whilst we plan what's next. So I can't be down on any of those things. I think, again, put yourself in their shoes, in those kind of creative shoes. You can see that we're in a better place. You can see that the belts are on bigger stars than they were last year. And yeah, the criticism will be, but we're not building the talent anymore. And you go, well, we are definitely still getting behind Trick Williams. We're still definitely building up Oba. Neither of those were on the roster this time last year, main roster. We're investing heavily in both of those. Both of them have got championships. The belt is on Sol. I don't love the fact of how we got to it, but it's there. So she's got the championship. So we're still trying to build her. The other belt's on Tiffany. I mean, questionable. I don't know what you're going to get out of that. But again, you can't just abandon it. So, Tiffany's got the belt. Maybe she can show what she can do. I think that they're doing what they can. And I think the shows are better as a result. But it's, still short of what people are looking for. But I think SummerSlam, honestly, the card so far doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Well, I've seen a fan say, what about Oba choosing Brock over a title shot? Well, yeah. I don't mind that. Due to Brock could have costed Oba the title and left. That would have been worse booking. Yeah, I don't mind him choosing Brock. I think it makes sense. He's been calling him out. Brock's come back. So let's go. As he said, a title will always be there, but a chance to go up against Brock might not be. So yeah, it's I don't mind it. The only thing I would say is I don't really want him to forfeit his title opportunity. He's got a title opportunity, and I think he should still have that title opportunity. So I don't want him to forfeit it. So that's the only thing I would say. But other than that, I think it makes sense that he would go after Brock, because obviously the rumors are Brock is done at SummerSlam. So this really could be his last opportunity to kind of face him. Okay, you lot said the main event was good 93, and USA have managed to score a second goal. I was going to go and watch that second half, but actually don't think there's much point now, because with 5 minutes to go, I mean, it'll be a shock if Bosnia can get 2 goals now. So I think that's a really, really good result for USA. That's a hard-fought result. I think it's a really, really good result as well. I think Bosnia are a really tricky team. They managed to get Italy out. So this looks like it's going to be USA, Belgium in the next round. I do think Belgium are there for the taking for USA. I do think you guys can go into that with some confidence. So there we go. Miss Dal Jr. said, do we think WWE has got too many championships? Maybe. Not many, because I think having a top title and a mid-card title makes sense. And I think doing that for both brands is fine. So you do that for the men, you do that for the women. I can't be down on that. Set of tag titles for the women, fine. I think you probably only need one set of tag titles for the guys. And then, of course, you know, your NXT belts. So I'm not down on it, to be honest. You could make an argument that we only need one world champion for the men and one for the women. And then just have the 2 mid-card belts. So you have your 2 mid-card champs, but you only have the 1 top champion. But, I mean, WWE has been operating with 2 world champions for most of this century, you know? In the 90s, 80s, whatever, we only had the 1 champion. But, you know, from the 2000s, when that big gold belt came in, you know, for a lot of that time, we've had 2 champs. And I think the shows are big enough to warrant the 2 champs, the 2 world champs. So I can't say I'm massively down on it. If they made a change where we just had 1 men's and 1 women's, that'd be okay. I still think we should keep the 2 mid-card belts, though, for the men and for the women. So if there are too many belts, it's only going to be by a few. I certainly wouldn't be taking it down anything drastic because I think it all makes sense. So, but you could maybe lose certainly tag belts. I don't think we need 2 sets of men's tag belts. I really don't think we need those. 1 set of men's, 1 set of women's. That would do. Okay, there we go. We're done. We can sit and keep chatting and answering questions, but we've gone well over our usual time. But yeah, appreciate everyone joining us, and it's good to, you know, get a stream under the belt so that we're kind of back and it feels familiar. Obviously, we're going to be, I don't know what's happening tomorrow. You just might not see me at all because there's a chance that I'm going out. It was my dad's birthday not long ago. We had some plans to go out, but I don't even know where we are with those plans now. I can't imagine anyone here feels like going out. So I just don't know. But what I can guarantee is that I'm definitely here on Friday, by which point, you know, it'll be a few more days since what's happened, and should be hopefully in an even better headspace and, you know, whatever. But yeah, appreciate everyone joining us, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.